Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range.
Tried to hold us back, to hold us, tried to hold us back.
We will be here forever. Do you understand? Forever.
Hey, it's Shan here. This week I catch up with gem of Australian skateboarding, someone whose history in skateboarding is deep. It's Mr. John Gray. John shares about his life so far, from growing up in the greater western suburb of Sydney called Blacktown to where he is now in life, still living in the same area, has a vert ramp in his backyard, skates regularly. He's 60 years of age. He's still doing inverts. He still just gets so excited about skateboarding. Like, you know, when you meet someone who smiles and their eyes kind of smile as well, like that was like John's vibe throughout the whole episode. When he smiles, his eyes smile. When he talks about skateboarding, his eyes light up. When he talks about his family and his friends, his eyes light up. When he talks about drumming and music, his eyes light up. And you could just tell he's still stoked and still inspired at his age. And I find that super inspiring. John shares regularly throughout the episode about his close and deep friendship with John Finlay, and it was really endearing to hear some of those stories of him growing up with Finn firsthand, and I felt quite honoured actually. We're joined by mutual friend, blogger, article writer, skateboarder, vert rat, and DJ, actually, he's a DJ as well, Mr. Ty Coling, and the three of us just go through like a chronology of his very interesting and amazing life. John, you know, his own skate shops. He was also a jeweller for many years. And yeah, what a perspective. I guess his life kind of blends in. Like when he talks about skating, it's a real blend of how Australian society and culture evolved over the years as well. From, you know, being quite a rural area in Western Sydney to what it is now, busy, multicultural. So I found that really interesting as well. Anyway, great guy. Loved this episode. So enjoy getting to know Mr. John Gray, everyone. Cheers.
Tried to hold us back.
Get what I'm saying.
Tried to hold us. They tried to hold us back. Tried to hold us back. For some fame.
Child of the crayon, child of the light, stars of the neon belong to a culture destined to rock for eons. Time doesn't exist. Shut those cataracts, capture the virtualist. Now let's get back to what makes things seem forever, whether it's unseen, unheard, or it's 16 again. Not a bother, fill this old man
Yeah,
with a
so the amazing thing is for the kids walk up and down the street and don't even glance. They're looking at their phone because in their eyes it's not skateboarding. A skateboard park is. That big arc in the backyard is... What is it?
Yeah.
You know, I've only had one bunch of kids ask me if they could ride it.
Right.
And the church people over the road would say to me, "What are you building?" And I would say, "I'm building an ark." In the next flood, you've got the faith, I've got the escape. And they just laughed and walked away, and that was the end of the subject until, you know, they watch us, but not one of them. They'll skateboard in the car park, like street skate, but they won't come over here to say, "Can we ride, can we watch?" I think they just look up and see four old guys going,
What are they doing?
"What are they doing? They're ancient."
I guess if you were completely clueless, to see that transition, you could think it was the hull of a boat, right?
That's it. Out here, you're more likely to be a hull of a boat than a skateboard ramp. You know, because people build boats out here.
But I must admit, it conjures this magic. I mean, as a kid, if you knew someone had a ramp,
Oh, wouldn't it?
you'd peek over the fence. It was so magical.
Jump fence, you would do anything.
Do you think that magic's gone for kids?
It's just not what they envision as skateboarding. They can't just get up there and do it. It's too hard. It's too big. You know, and it's not, they can't get on there and do their trick and go, look how great I am, because the action's at the top.
Yeah.
So if you can't do it, you can't do it. So for them, it's, you know, I've had a couple of scooter kids, can I get on there? But obviously that's not going to happen.
I was going to say, like, you let scooters on there?
My grandkids maybe would get away with it, but I'd be struggling too.
How many grandkids do you have?
4.
Wow, man.
Yep, they're classics.
Are they?
Absolute. Well, Wyatt, Lila, Arizona, and Roscoe.
Right.
Yeah, you just love them. It's just a world of amazing to be a grandparent.
Is it?
It's
Is
just
it
all love?
easier?
Easy. You just rock on. You just do all the bad stuff. See, I bought them a little MIDI drum set there, so
Noticed.
they all learn to play drums.
Because parenting's hard, right?
Oh yeah, you're happy when your time is done. You're happy. You go, made it.
Is grandparenting the reward for the hard work?
Absolutely. It's a joy. It's the best thing ever. You just spoil them and be cool, and you're that great person. You're always Poppy. I'm Poppy, you know. Poppy, they love you. They cuddle you and run up, and it's a dream. My grandson, my son Ben's son, Roscoe, he called me Pop. Pop for the first time the other day. It was
How old is he?
1 and a bit. So it was just the first, and you go, look at that one. Huh. And then, you know, they play out the back, and me, Benny, and his son are playing ball out in the backyard.
Wow.
You know, that's for me is amazing, because it would have been Benny at the skate park with me as a little grommet this big for years.
If you reflect on John Gray, the skate rat in the 80s, did you ever envision that your life would be what it is today?
No way. Not the skateboard part. Once 2000 come and the Dogtown documentary come, then as a 40-year-old, I bypassed the whole 90s basically. So 92 I was being a parent, and then I couldn't adapt to whatever was happening. And then they brought back old school, and all of a sudden I wasn't that corny, you know.
You became relevant again.
I could ride again. I could ride in public again and not feel like I wasn't doing everything that you're supposed to be doing.
Well, did you feel like a period of time you couldn't be who you wanted to be on a skateboard?
I don't think I wanted to be the guys that were on a skateboard. They flew forward. So the tiny wheel, baggy pants, the whole everything generational change, for sure, I got dusted.
You just like, it's over for us, we're done.
Well, it was over by the time, that's wrong. The skateboard shop, when I had that all through it, was punishing, crushing. When it all went down and you saw... So it was basically rap music and basketball come in, and my generation of skateboarding went. And then it was street riding, because everyone could street ride. Then they just got better and better and better and better and better. And, yeah, it just got hard, I think. Yeah, definitely too hard, too much effort to continue with the kids, you know.
Continue with the kids like your kids?
No,
with the new kids.
With Lux and,
yeah,
you know, that gen. Lux was just amazing, you know. We go like...
Adam Luxford.
Gee, just, wow, you can do everything.
Yeah.
You know, and then they just... I couldn't keep up with it, you know, not my, you know, version of tricks and skateboarding on a...
Did you find it hard because there was a lack of vert ramps as well?
No, that's all we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because people who had them in their backyards, they were tearing them down and things like that.
Yeah, but that was us. See, we had them.
Okay.
It was us who had them, and then, of course, we had Manavale, so you rode Manavale, and that's where the scene was. And it was, yeah, definitely, you know, the young kids just got better, and it got harder for me to get a go. Well, not hard to get a go, but I think you get spiteful. Everyone got a little bit of bitter once the kids were dusting you. And, you know, by the time Dave Bodner come out, well, he would let you know that he was totally dusting you, and there was no mercy. So it was you know, I was like, yeah.
What do you mean, let you know through his actions? Like,
you're
through
fucked. You suck. You're shit. Look at that. What are you doing? Get off the ramp.
Did he actually say those things to you?
He was ferocious for a little tight. Yeah, I know. It's just painful, you know. But in his own little funny way. But you certainly... And by the time he was good, I was just going back to have a roll with Ted. You know, so...
Just for clarity, Ted who?
Steve Sargent.
Okay.
Yeah, just to go back and have a roll with the boys and see what I could still do, and still do the same stuff. I still do it now. So there wasn't ever many. I just made good use of them.
That's amazing. So I guess effectively I want to get a bit of a chronology of your life and we'll delve into it. Like, can you tell us where you grew up?
I grew up in Marion, which is about 4 stations back from where we are in Windsor.
Yep.
Which for those... Just a little suburban boy, Blacktown. I'm a Blacktown kid, if that's... Yeah.
So for people listening in other parts of the world, that would be the greater western suburbs of Sydney, New South Wales, Australia.
Yep, at the time it certainly was Blacktown. If you told someone you come from Blacktown, they actually, when I went to Pimble Pool, even at Manly Skate City, they called me Blacktown. They didn't refer to me as John.
Why?
Because we were just trash from the burbs.
Oh, right.
But we were just good. We were good. You know, we built ramps and we just got good. So in the end, they couldn't hassle us because we just got good. You know? So we held our own, and then I think I won... So the first half-pipe contest in New South Wales, if they don't count Albury as a real half-pipe, but the first real half-pipe contest, that was the amateur thing in 79, I think, and I won that. And I was on the phone to my mum going, Mum, I won. And it was all exciting, and Biff walked past.
Biff Murdoch?
Biff Murdoch and said, are you talking to your mum, John? And I went, Mum, Biff just called me by first name. It was like, that was the greater. You know, I didn't know whether just winning that contest was the best thing in the world or Biff calling me by name, but I was someone all of a sudden.
What year?
Yeah, 79.
79.
So I wasn't Blacktown anymore. So I did.
So do you think that win solidified your credibility amongst...
I was just a little rat. Like, you know, I was going to I used to look in the surf magazines to see if there was any skateboard pictures, you know, there'd be a Sims ad and I looked through tracks and there was the story of the contest. And, you know, there's a big picture of Errol winning the bowl part, and then there's this tiny little paragraph that said, and the surprise of the day was Blacktown's John Gray, who come from nowhere to win, you know, the amateur part. And I was like, well, that's me. Mum, it's me. And she's like, don't be silly.
So how did you get good in the first place?
There was a little drainage canal.
In Blacktown?
In Quakers Hill, which is not far from here again.
Yeah.
And we used to ride our bikes there. And one day I'm just sitting on the crapper. And the boys are on their bikes. And I'm going, let's get out of the canal, you know. So we strap our skateboards on there. We've been riding the footpaths and the hills and it was like the greatest revelation in the world. So up we go and we're all trying to ride up this little embankment up onto the top. And
keep talking. You all right?
Yeah, and I just I went halfway up and turned around.
So wait up in a drainage ditch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you went halfway up the drainage ditch.
Halfway up the little wall, we had a bank there, and I went up the wall.
Yeah.
And we were trying to ride up and over the top onto the platform like we did
of the drain.
Yeah, you know, like we would have on our push bikes.
But you ran out of speed.
And turned around.
Like a kick turn?
It was the kick turn.
So what are you saying? Are you saying you invented the kick turn?
I invented the kick turn before I'd ever seen anyone do it. That's it. I'd never seen anyone. I'd seen dudes surf Carver Hill.
Yeah.
I'd never seen anyone actually kick turn. I had this little green plastic board with a notch on the back.
Right.
It was the greatest invention of all time because boards then had rockers.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't a surf guy, so the little notch was perfect.
So this is what Ty and I were talking about this morning. We're having a chat on the phone. Like, where were you getting your skate information from? What were because there was very little documenting.
I'd seen this, you know, you saw that whole generation of Bain Superflex. So I wasn't allowed to ride a skateboard. My dad wouldn't let me ride a skateboard. Right, so no, you can't have one of those things. So if I'd sneak off, I think I learnt to stand on one at 9, and then at 11 he moved out. And I went, Mum, can I have a skateboard and a drum set? Oh, yeah, that's a classic one too. So then I was being a paper boy to get a skateboard, right? And there was this evil dude in our street who wouldn't let us, we'd paint road, you know, football fields and stuff. And anyway, he had a drink truck and he'd always park in our court. So one day he got out of the drink truck and he dropped his wallet. And me and Greg are playing with the footy going, right, this is it. This is it. We're going to get it. So I'm kicking the footy. About 2 hours, I finally land the football on this guy's wallet. We do a runner up to the new roads. And that's where I bought my first skateboard.
Insane.
Criminal.
From the guy's wallet.
From the guy's wallet, the drink guy. He shouldn't have parked on our court.
Sorry,
you know?
wait. He dropped his wallet. So I thought it was going to be some really noble story of like, I worked every Saturday delivering papers.
I did, but I didn't make enough money to buy a skateboard. It cost $42 and I wasn't even getting close.
$42.
$42. It was a big coin for a green plastic board.
What year? 77.
76.
Dude, I was born in 77.
So yeah, maybe 76.
We're talking 48 years ago.
Yeah. Bro. Yeah, so...
History's deep.
It was classic. So, yeah, we stole our first skateboards, me and Greg, and never got off. And that was it.
What was the board, though? What do you remember the brand? What was
it was a green plastic board.
Like a banana board?
Yeah, except it had a little notch tail. So it was... And that's...
So it was flat...
Yeah.
But then it had a notch on the tail to make it like a kick.
Tail. Yeah, but kick tails weren't invented yet.
Okay, so the board wasn't actually moulded with a kick.
No.
Okay.
No, mine was flat with this little notch, a green plastic notch on the back, and it was the perfect...
You could sort of
skid. Yeah.
Dig your heel into it.
Go down the hill with a bit of wood on the back and skid all the way down the hill like a champion. Then we just got rid of that because we were watching... When I was a paper boy, I was watching this guy called Lindsay ride another drainage ditch. But he just surfed down the wall into coffins and hang ten. It was just so cool, brown skin, long hair, all that stuff that didn't happen in Blacktown. He just looked, I just go, wow, check that dude, And then you'd see a picture of someone carving a skateboard, maybe there'd be a Sims ad and I'd see that in the surf magazines. You're just seeing this little picture and no idea. I mean, the first Sims ad, the guy's hanging above the wall in a snake run. Mm. I've no idea how he even gets there. No concept of that.
Gotcha. So
I can actually fly out.
Would you study it going, okay, how did this happen?
Yeah,
study that one picture.
Yeah, see, I did probably what everyone in every other part of the world did. There's me inventing a kick turn in a drain, but there would have been 50 kids in other parts of the world doing the same thing.
So when you did that kick turn, were you like, with your friends, were you just like, what? What happened?
Did you see that? Did you see what I did? Did you see what I did? So anyway, by the end of the day, we're going up and I was doing one-wheelers. And we were like, you are balancing on one wheel. And we're sitting there at night. We probably bought anyway. Bodega or whatever we would have been getting Rosie on as little kids.
Port?
No way. That's too hard for me. Champagne, cheap champagne from a young age. And... and we were just talking about that, and then you'd flex the wheel, because the wheels were wide and they slopped like they were. Yep. Those old wheels are just jelly.
Yep.
And then the bearings would fall out. So then, I'd go up and I'd just ride this thing on my own, this little ditch, every day. I had this green plastic Cooper helmet, and my mum said, so long as you wear the helmet, you're allowed to go in.
So at this stage, your dad was cool with it?
No, he's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's cool.
Okay.
Raging. Yeah, he was. He wasn't horrible. He was just a psych nurse, so he's cranky.
Okay.
Yeah.
And parents separated?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I skateboard, drum set, Hence today, skateboard ramp drum set.
Amazing.
So skating the ditch, just real quick, were you not sort of rolling in from the top? Were you rolling down the flat bottom to get sort of up the wall, or were you entering in from the top? Or
no, we just push from the bottom.
Okay. Yep.
So
sure.
we put the board there, run up to it, push as fast as we can, and go up the wall.
Right.
And so then eventually I was doing these little, hand plant things. I'd grab and land on the top because it was just a bank to. So you didn't hang up if you come in.
So it was like a rounded sort of.
Not round. It was squared enough to balance a wheel.
Okay.
But it was banky enough that you couldn't really. No concept of doing an aerial.
Hanging up, that too, or jagging that.
Yeah, you couldn't hang up, so you could roll down it if you wanted to with no problem. But we'd roll down it and then turn around and go back up it and work on it. And there was all parts of it everywhere. It's still out there. It's amazing. It just takes a lot of cleaning and the concrete's rough. But it's incredible,
Interesting.
And then, I was doing little hand plant things. And then I gave that up because I couldn't get high enough, so then I was just doing bunny hop jumps to hang up. And I sort of basically sort of this shit on my own. And then Danny Van and all the Harris Park guys turned up at my canal, which we referred to as the Far Canal.
The Far Canal.
The Far Canal. We're all going to the Far Canal. It was just, we had a little song, we're all going to the Far Canal, you know. So we'd have contests up there for a chocolate, you know, we'd all chuck in. And
So what, best trick, best line?
just, you know, who knows, you know, something to argue about over the chocolate. So, yeah, and then Danny Van and all these surf cats, and they got there and they rode it totally different to how I did. They were riding these other sidewalls, and it's very rideable if you're a surfer guy, but I didn't like those walls because they'd break my wheels on the angles. If I hit them too hard, they'd wreck my wheels, and I didn't have any money to get more wheels. So it was, you know, you had to save your skateboard, and my upright and down on this little quarter pipe thing or bank thing was... And I was progressing. Yeah, they got there and they're like, wow, who's this kid? So then I went to Harris Park. I went, whoa, look at all these dudes. You know, I'm there with my little green plastic coupe board and they've got, you know, real skateboards. Wow. So skateboarding was already happening. I just didn't have any grasp out here or any money.
Wow.
And then we went to Burwood and looked at them skateboards. Was Dave Mock looks like a rock star, and it's like, wow, look at all these people. And I'd never seen outside of Marion.
Interesting.
I was just a little bourbon kid. I didn't have any money to go anywhere, you know. I used to go to the footy, I think. But that was just go to football, go back, you know, like watch St George play or whatever. And, yeah, and that was my only outside contact with until I got to skateboarding. I went, oh, look at the world.
So you were just, you know, inventing your own tricks as you went.
Yeah, we were just inventing, looking at something going, I wonder how.
Yeah.
Like I wonder how that gets done.
Yeah.
You know, one of my mates, we built this tiny little quarter pipe to learn rock and rolls on. And we're all going for it, and we put this little bit of wood. You know, quarter pipe's probably as big as this tiny table, you know, 2 foot, and we put a little bit of wood on so we could rock the board. And we were trying to do it, and my other mate goes, watch this. Just went up frontside and did it. One go. One go. So, you know, in our world, Parker invented the frontside rock and roll.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I said, okay, you could ask Greg, we could ring my mates and go, who invented the frontside rock and roll?
That's what he'll say.
Parker, of course. You know, it was just...
It's so true. Like, how do you quantify who actually invented these things? Because everyone, like, around the world is having their own similar experiences.
It is. It's, you know...
It's magic.
It's just the magazines made what was going to be that trick.
Yeah.
And then you started going, okay.
Yeah.
But to actually see moving skateboarding, the first time I saw moving skateboarding was in a surf playgrounds of paradise.
Okay.
And all the mates went out because they had money to go to the food shop and I didn't. So I just sat through it and there was skateboarding on it. Mm. So in those I saw Skater Data, which is just so classic. It's just one old school little, you know, Surfer Sam kind of movie. Mm-hmm. But the guys just rip. You know, it's Danny Bear and all those old school first gen guys. And they just kill it on these deadly boards. And I watched that, and then they had Ray Bones and Steve Olsen riding the half pipe at Lakewood. And they're just gliding magical skateboarding. First time, you just like, that is off its head.
Right.
That's what it looks like. And then, you know, blinded. Love.
So after the Far Canal,
yep.
The first actual ramp you seen was at Burwood. Is that what you said?
No, that was just seeing the humans. We built ramps. So we built our own little ramps in the backyard.
The little quarter pipe was like effectively the first ramp you'd ever seen in real life.
To use what in the canal was actually the first time I'd used something going straight up and straight down.
The canal was?
Yeah, the canal wall was something I could push straight at, turn around.
What about after that though?
Well, then we just went and built our own ramps. Yeah.
Like a quarter pipe, half pipe?
Yeah, we built a little quarter pipe down my driveway, which first go we went straight through. Yeah. Because it was really steep and one layer of masonite. So first go went straight through that. That was over. Then we built a little half pipe thing. And we put pool metal on it, you know, old school. You know, imagine suburban backyard swimming pools with the blue tip. So that lasted 10 minutes with the neighbours. And then we just become, you know, by the time the whole of my group of mates, you know, we just get out there in the bush and find wood and build, you know. So we probably had the first big ramp with flat bottom. I saw that Hollywood ramp in the magazine, and that was 8 foot high and had flat bottom. So we just built that. Wow. Well, I didn't. I never built anything. My mates would build it. You know, they were the builders, and I was probably allowed to straighten nails. That was probably my job, you know. And we just go up to this place called Buckshots and steal wood from his house, and he'd come out and shoot us with a salt gun. But it was all part of the fun, you know. Scream snake, everyone had dropped this bit of wood. And one day we found this 10 by 10 piece of platform or something. It was actually that was our flat bottom. And that was it. From there, we had flat bottom to build all the ramps off. They were deadly. No one would come and ride them because they'd wreck your wheels.
Okay.
So that, like Bradshaw and Danny and all them guys, they're like, no way, mate. You know, wheels are too expensive and your ramps are just death traps.
Yeah. What were the wheels?
Oh, it would have been, and you know.
Not brand, but was it clay still, or were they getting...
No, it's just urethane. Yeah, coloured urethane by now. Bones, you know, like maybe cubic, so they cost a fortune. But they wouldn't ride them on my ramps.
What was wrong? Like the nails sticking out or something?
And metal, and we'd stick anything down. So we found there was a sign on that street that, well, we obviously need that. You know, metal was good. Metal would last. But the corners were deadly, so... And they were just butcher ramps, but we kept building and kept building and kept building, and we just never gave up. And up, down, we had a channel, a bowl. Whatever was happening in the magazine, my mate Bim would just go... I'm going to build it. Cool. I was at work, you know, on Saturday mornings, and I'd come home to my backyard of chaos.
You've been in the area most of your life, all your life, really. Away from skateboarding a little bit, how would you compare Blacktown of then to Blacktown of now? Like, what are the big changes in the society and culture?
Oh, it's a totally different place.
Like, can you explain?
I wouldn't go there. No, so it's just, when in my days it was just, you just went, don't go there, don't walk there. You know, you knew where to be, where not to be is how I was there.
Okay.
For what reasons?
No, it's just sketchy, you know. They just weren't going to take to it. And then, so me and Finn were having a bit of a magic time one night, and we were in this car park in Blacktown in this little grease thing, doing, you know, spinning orbital 360s, like both wheels spinning it twice, just flat spinning.
Flat ground?
Yeah, in Greece. And it was hysterical at the time. And the copper comes up to us and says, fuck off back to Manly. Because we had long shorts on, you know. And you had footy shorts, or stubbies if you were from where I grew up, you know.
They thought you were like surfer types.
Well, we were like, what are you doing here? Fuck off back to Manly. And he's like, I'm from Mariong. And Finn was always a bit wise-mouthed, so we had to be very cautious, you know. Yeah, that was pretty funny. But, yeah, we were considered not right for there either.
Interesting.
Being because we rode a skateboard, we just rode a skateboard, you know. What are you doing on that thing now? That was post-generation. So the whole Bain Superflex thing was done, but we were the little trinkets that... Well, I finally was Land Rover skateboard, so I just got straight on. I was hanging for it, you know.
Yeah.
I just wasn't allowed to do it back in 74, 75, whatever, when Bain Superflex was out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But the area now is a lot more built up.
Oh, yeah. It's a totally different place. It was bush. We'd run around like madmen, buy cars for $20 and play paddock thrashing.
Yeah.
But now it's just houses.
What about the demographic?
Totally different.
Multicultural?
You know? Multicultural. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you know. It's just a different place completely. But it's, you know, it's not my department. I don't go there because I don't have to anymore.
Gotcha.
Living out here, I just don't have to go through, you know. I go, it's, you know, I remember it all. I went to school there, you know. Yeah, it was, nothing ever happened to me, you know. I was wise enough.
But you felt safe?
Run fast.
But it wasn't safe?
Not to be a little odd bod kid.
Okay.
You know, you just didn't, you know. There was a quarter pipe in Whalen, Mount Druitt. Well, that to me was scary, right? Because they were like, okay. So my auntie lived there, and I'd go and ride this little quarter pipe, which was a perfect 8-foot section of Manly half pipe. 8 foot wide, 8 foot high, wood coping, just a dream. And we'd always go and ride that. And one day the bogans come from across the road, just come over with the thing of petrol and went, fuck off.
No way.
Was that one of those blue fiberglass ones?
No, it was they were orange because they were the blue ones with the 6 foot quarter pipe sections, but this was actually one of the half pipe sections.
Okay.
So it was 8 foot tranny, 8 foot high, 8 foot wide. They were perfect, exactly like Manly half pipe, Skate City half pipe.
Interesting.
Not Curl Park, yeah, no.
Not Curl
we're,
Park.
We're way before.
Pre-Curl Park.
Yeah, way before Curl Park. Yeah, no, that probably had the. I don't know. I don't even know when that ramp got there, like the quarter pipe.
How old were you when you first met John Finlay?
It was. Well, that was at Pimble Pool, so that's 79. Right.
79-ish.
Yeah, 79. So I don't know, whatever that makes me. 79 and 60.
Okay, so and he lived
41, yeah.
He lived close by at the
No,
time.
he just got here from Scotland, and they were roller skater guys, and then
So he roller skated.
him and Steve Henshaw, his mate from Manchester. They were roller disco guys because they met at the hostel where they got there, and they were snappy dresses and had fancy accents and very worldly and cool, and we were just. And so we were talking to them at the. It was raining at Pimble Pool one morning, and because all of us. Nobody's had to hack it out to get a go. So we catch the first train out of Blacktown, which was 3 a.m, and hopefully we'd get a go before they got there. You prayed the surf was perfect. If the surf was perfect, at least some of them wouldn't be there. And maybe we'd get a go. But maybe most of the time we'd just go watch, maybe get 5 or 6 little scraps, and then go home.
Wow.
And do whatever they did.
Right.
Because now we can see rolling and they could do wheelers and airs and rail grabs and all this amazing shit,
Yeah.
And there's little Johnny McGrath just killing it with his long rock star hair, and we're like, where the hell is that? And yeah, it was just a different dimension for us to go there. But then we'd go home to our ramp and we'd nail lino, floor tiles on so we could go and get the noises.
sound.
And get the noises, yeah. So
Like
that
pool
was-
tiles.
Yeah, pool tiles. So we'd just nail them on with anything. And just go, yeah, that's us. Now we got the noises. And we do impersonations of, this dude and that dude and,
But even though, like, Finn and his friend were roller skaters, like, you liked them.
Yeah, they were probably scrapping too to get a bite into the scene.
Okay.
We were just all little rats arriving here and we wanted to be with the big cool guys, which was Errol Wedge, Johnny McGrath, Tony Mann, Biff. They were the A-listers. Well, we certainly weren't even. I didn't even have a ticket. We didn't even have a ticket to stand there. We could sit on the top, and but yeah. So then, when they got moved out here, out to the burbs. So Finn moved out to Riverston, which is just 2 stations from here, and of course, that was it. He was like, "Okay, I'm hanging with you guys." So he'd come and ride this half pipe section on his roller skates. So he was pretty good, His mate was better, but he was pretty good. They could do little jumps or whatever roller skate guys do, Rad stuff back then. And and then they just got off it, once at our ramps, the 8 wheels were so expensive.
Ah.
They had to have that. And then,
costing.
yeah, and then I remember Finn had 8 bones and 131 indies on his roller skates.
Yes.
It was like, gee, that's like $1 million worth of shit there. I couldn't even afford the stickers, let alone the stuff. And, so then when he got it off his skateboard, he's instantly rolling 2 skateboards with primo stuff.
Yeah.
And then they could afford to wreck the wheels, Or you just got used to it. We just got used to it, It was better wrecking your wheels than your body. If you fell off, you were going to come up with blood. Yeah, so... And then once Finn got here, that was us. We were inseparable, we just hit a family thing. He called my mum Auntie Dell,
Do you mind if I ask, like, what did you immediately like about his personality?
I didn't. He was just an obnoxious little shit, but he was something, Yeah. It was witty and fast and British, and we weren't ready. We were just bogan kids from out here. We didn't have that sense of
Was he got kind of like
comedies,
sarcastic, putting shit
Oh,
on
yeah,
you?
yeah, full on like
Putting
that.
shit on
And we
you?
just didn't know how to take it, and he taught me how to take it. And I'll give him, they were so worldly and had seen, and been from Finn grew up in rough old Scotland, and Steve was from Manchester. So they'd seen a much bigger city world than I had, and they had music influences that I would never have had, and that all leads to that,
They brought that to you as well.
Yeah, everything.
Were you playing drums then in that stage? Like how old were you? You were young.
I was pit-patting for sure. I was doing that from when I was 9.
Yeah.
9, it took me a while to get a drum set, but I was definitely obsessed.
So was he opening your mind to some bands? And
when we got a bit older, yeah, he started going out and we saw ska bands and, post-punk bands and, Spy versus Spy, cool stuff, power stuff and stuff that would just enchant me, And so I always loved the idea of I was never not going to play drums. That was it. I'd seen this one video clip. It's More Than a Feeling by Boston. It had a sparkly drum set and he hits the cymbal and it shimmers in the lights and I was in love. And there was no way I was not going to do that. That was me. And so then it would be whatever, the peanut butter jar, the knife, fork, the spoon, endless.
wow.
And then, when Finn and Steve got here, they just had a different... I grew up obviously on straight Aussie music. I actually learnt to drum to Olivia Newton-John.
No way.
Yep. I loved her to death and that's what I was...
She was so hot, hey.
It must have been something back in the day because, but that was it. I learnt to drum.
Smoking.
I got on it and I got on the drums and Mum's like, no drum solos. And I just had to learn how to play. So I realised...
Why no drum solos?
That is painful. I still can't do drum solos. I'm hopeless. I can play good, but I don't do drum solos. And if I'm playing somewhere and people say, can I do a drum solo? I go, no. Because I suck. I don't have all the hot tricks. But I can rip around them and play them good. So
you can keep rhythm.
Oh, God, yeah.
When did you start jamming with friends and stuff?
Oh, we had our own band. We started a band. So the same boys I skateboarded with, it was pouring. So we went, okay, we better start a band because that's what's happening in the magazines.
Yep.
So we started a band and I was going to play drums. Greg was already rocking around with his guitar. The other guy had a guitar. The other guy had bass. And like any kids, he'd just go, right, we're starting a band. What are we going to play? I played Beatle, dumb stuff, And then one day we're jamming, we're thinking we're all that, and Finn and Steve turn up, and I go, so what do you think? And Finn goes, be negative? So we were called the B Negatives.
I was going to say, what do you... So Finn named your first
Finn named the band B Negatives.
B Negatives.
Yeah, he always had these little classic quotes, He was always his little, we're B Negatives, so we did that, and then, they'd come along and he'd play all the... Then we had a ska band.
Did he get involved?
Yeah, they were, that's just what we did.
What did he play or did he sing?
He'd play, mainly in the first one, he'd just cause mayhem. In the B Negatives, him and Steve would just cause mayhem. Because I was trying to play the Police, so I bought this claptrap, which you could drum once and and it was really, for its day. And so then Finn and Steve got on it and just went, and it overdubbed itself. And I just couldn't ever fix it. So I was like, you pricks. But anyway, then way after that, we were in ska bands with Finn, and
so good.
Yeah, it was classic.
Ska.
Yeah, that was the first.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was the genre you were going for, or did that evolve with the times? Like, was it punk?
Well, that's what they were into. See, we went and saw the Sex Pistols movie, like every bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
And they were all coming back, I'm going to be a punk rocker. I'm like, you're a bunch of fucking idiots. You got to be shit, you dickheads. You're going to go back home to the Bogues and just put the same old shit on and do what we do, But it was all enthusiastic on the train, we wanted to spit now all of a sudden. Whatever punk people did. And then, but this is, before we'd even grown up and hit the city, so we haven't, we've got no culture yet, But then when I started going out, we saw, sort of Spy versus Spy, that post-punk power pop stuff, I think they called it.
Yeah.
And it was, so good. It was just ferocious live. But then Steve got into ska music, and then we started going to see the All-Nighters or whatever the bands that were happening back then.
Yeah.
And then they got right into that. So then, of course, we started one of them kind of bands because that's what you do. And, I learned how to play that junk. I get on there now and I go, I don't even know how to play this anymore. It's so amazing. But I actually learned it because it's just what was entering your head,
So you're still playing regularly?
Drums?
Yeah.
Oh.
Daily?
I'll be on them probably when you guys go.
No way.
Just for the sake of it, yeah. I listen to country now. I love country, Modern country is my favourite now,
Really?
because it's got everything. It's still got power. It's played almost exactly like disco, same as funk would be played. It's just funk drumming.
Yep.
Where the foot pedal placements are is just modern groove music. So it's not really country. It's just the words of country.
Gotcha.
And the Dipsy's country. But I could play... You could play basically any modern song that's out on the radio sung by whoever will also be a country song.
Okay.
There's country rap. They're just exactly like normal rap, except they're singing about the back road.
Yeah, gotcha.
Not killing life in the city. They're shooting deer in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly the same stuff, and the drum beat's all the same, so I just love it,
It's gangster as well.
Yeah, therefore it is. It's country gangster.
Did you have actual lessons to play the drums?
I had one, and being that I must have been a very, humble child, the guy told me to do this thing and hold the sticks this way, and I just thought he was an idiot. Obviously, you don't do that, You do what they do on the TV because they know what they're doing. The guy ended up being the drummer he played drums for the Led Zeppelin band. So imagine if I had not been such an egotistical little wanker, what I would have learned. Now, I still can't do that John Bonham triplet,
Okay.
I can get close, but I don't dedicate time to it. It's not what I want to play. I'd rather play Prince.
Really? So even now, are you still trying to get better, like progress?
Oh, never stop
or
learning.
Or just maintain what you can do?
No, you never stop learning, You never stop learning stuff. It's easier to learn tricks on that than on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less taxing on the body.
Less taxing on it, grueling on your head. And simple stuff, it's just... But it's sequencing and when you can put it in and can you use all that stuff and can you do it on the roll, Not go, okay, I got this amazing trick, but, I know guys have got amazing tricks, but can you use it? Or are you ever going to play stuff? Like I'm never going to play speed metal, death metal. I don't even know where the drum beat is. I never listen to it and I just don't even know how I watch it and go...
That's epic.
That's incredible. Like you could probably beat Usain Bolt in a race. The thunderfoot and it's 6 zillion miles and you could probably outbeat anyone in a walking race. Should be a drummer all-stars. But, it's just not my music. That stuff was never my music. So even early metal like Led Zeppelin, Ozzy Osbourne and that stuff, I just never listened to that. My sisters and brother played the Beatles and Wings and I learnt, my sister was a disco dance star back in the 70s, so... I'll still put on Saturday Night Fever and think...
What, a disco dance star?
Yeah, it was a show called The Zoo, I think it was called, and she was a dancer on it, which, amazing. Yeah, so I learned all that, I learned that kind of music, not so much metal, so I don't, I've always been just a funky drum guy, I'd just rather just flip, dip around and have a good time.
So good. If we go back to... let's go into the 80s now, like where it was skateboarding was starting to become a little bit more predominant, a little bit more recognized. Pros were coming from America to do demos and things like that. How would you describe that period of skateboarding for you? Was it a real period of progression?
There was a little blank before that part. So there's a little just haze where we all tinkered around on a skateboard, but there was nothing to skateboard on. North Ride was, old, dusty, dirty, no one went anymore.
North Ride?
Yeah, we were sort of a little bit more into music. We were learning that, so all my boys were learning music.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, what happened? That's wild.
Just quickly, so the half-pipe competition 79 that you won, what ramp was that on?
That was at Skate City.
At Skate City in Manly?
In Manly, yeah.
Okay. So did that have flat bottom or it didn't have flat bottom, did it?
No flat bottom. So it was 8 foot high, 8 foot thingy, and that's the trophy. That's the only trophy I got.
Oh, sick.
I still got that one. That was worth keeping,
I was just looking at that before.
Yeah. So that's the contest number one.
So then where did you progress to from after Manly?
I think we just went to our own backyard. It became very expensive to go. We get more goes on our own ramps. We jam on the flat bottom and then we take that off and we build a bit of ramp and then we play skateboards all day and then drink beer on it at night. And I think we just stayed to ourselves for a long time. And then North Ryde come along. And then we all sort of re-met at North Ryde. And then you get to the... Yeah, so me and Finn had girlfriends. You know, we were doing our thing. I was rockabilly by then. I was a rockabilly kid. I was a rockabilly dance guy then. So Finn was too raucous to hang out with. Like Finn was full house. Like if you wanted to go out at night with him, like it wasn't going to end.
What are we talking? 18, 19?
Yeah, apprentice years.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a freaking hell, man. Yeah, no shit, he was wild. No, I would have been just probably in my 20s here. Yeah, because I had a jewellery shop at 19.
Wait up. You started one.
No, I learnt to be a jeweller. So I had a jewellery shop at 19.
That's your trade.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yes, so we had that, and then anyway, that turned sour. Yeah, I got stabbed anyway. I got arm robbed. And so we closed that down into the skateboard shop. So I just faded. Anyway, there's a whole lot of...
What suburb are we talking?
Seven Hills, which is just next to Blacktown. But in the 80s, there was a lot of heroin around town, and the shit just hit the fan. And if you're in one of them shops, a jewellery shop on your own back then, you're just asking for it, So, I got nailed, and that's what happens. So that was the end of the love of that, It was kind of that shattering, I was so hurt. And, then I just faded that. Colin Brown started importing skateboards, and all of a sudden there was this little pickle in skateboarding. You could see this little sparkle. Santa Cruz had a bullet, and there was colour, and all of a sudden again it was like, ooh, here we go. And Colin Brown started importing skateboards. He started bringing Santa Cruz in, and I was totally over the jewellery thing by then. I didn't want to be that terrified all the time, and
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was gnarly, but it's worse on your head. Anyway, I just started filling the shop up with skateboards, and all of a sudden, the jewellery people would come in and go, "I want my ring fixed." And why is there 50 kids here and what are all these pink things on them? Like half the cupboard's got Santa Cruz skateboards.
And you were buying them off Colin Brown?
No, I was buying them off Colin Brown.
Like he was like the distro.
Yeah, so he started getting bigger and better and getting more other brands and shit. And
so you kind of had rights to selling Santa Cruz.
Yeah, everyone was, there was
no
Toby Malone, not Toby Malone, Darren Burford was doing Vision up in, or whatever, Sims or something, whatever he was doing up in Queensland. These little entrepreneurial kids would just got it together. So they started, they brought it to it, Colin basically brought it to Sydney and Melbourne with his stuff. If he hadn't done it, who was going to do it? We had to wait for the Hills to do it. They were doing it, I think, but that wasn't our department because that was Melbourne. So, then I just started putting skateboards in, and all of a sudden skateboards started outselling the jewellery, and I just lost interest in the jewellery, and I could be the skateboard guy now. And again.
And it started sustaining a living for you?
Oh, until it was 100% skateboarding, and the jewellery was just in boxes out the back. All the good stuff got taken, so it wasn't like I had this.
What do you mean it got taken?
Well, when I got robbed,
Oh, the jewels?
Oh, yeah, all the good shit was gone.
Okay.
These guys, you knew jewellery as good as I did.
Man, so that was a pretty heavy moment in your life, obviously.
Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. It was the worst. But anyway, it's just one of those weird things that happen.
Where'd you get stabbed?
In the stomach, but it hit me in the belt. So it bounced off my belt and then only popped me.
Wow.
And then...
brutal. Is it because you weren't complying?
It wasn't... they're just full house, they're just hard ass. You walk in the door, fucking plur. Mucking around, like...
Not even like...
I always had a fantasy of, this is what's going to happen. Well, it doesn't happen like that. I got up to get my hair cut. I went in to get $10 to get my hair cut before work. The dudes just come straight in behind me and... no mucking around, this is first grade. And you're just not even in the league of that person's anger, rage, fury, dependence, whatever.
Desperation.
But you're not even there. So it's two worlds, But I just knew what that life would bring if you're going to be in that game. It's not going to change. Hence why you rarely see roadside jewellers anymore. They're in shopping centres where they're safe.
Ah, got you.
Safe in numbers. It's a dangerous. You got to get in and out the door. You got to get back to your car.
No, it's something I'm just because my mindset's so far removed from that. I've never considered that would be such a dangerous business to have.
Yeah, it's gold's gold. You melt it, it's gone.
Oblivious to the reality.
Yeah,
of it.
so it just was easier selling skateboards. It was fun. People were happier. It was less intense.
So no one was trying to hold you up for the skateboards.
No, and in jewellery, when you're making something, you're trying to make what's in her head. Because she's got this fantasy in her head. She's had it for 20 years of what this is going to look like. You can draw 10 pictures, but if it's not that, it's not that.
How'd you learn the trade?
Well, I was going to be a famous skateboarder, and there's no such thing. So I had to get a job, and the first job it said was just working in a jewellery shop. I didn't nothing. I had no idea about working in. I could sell toilet paper. I didn't know. But my boss was Yugoslavian, and he said, "John, what are you going to do?" I said, "I wanted to be a skateboarder." Idiot, and said, "Sit here, I'll teach you this." So I learnt watchmaking at the start, and then electronic watches come in, and he goes, "No, I don't know enough about that. Move. Sit on this bench now. You're a jeweller."
No way.
So I learnt that, and then I just bought it off him at 19 for fuck knows what reason.
Interesting.
Absolutely no logical reason in my head apart from to go tell people I had a jewelry shop. I'm like, cool.
But you did have a dream to be a pro skater at one stage in your life.
Oh, I wanted to be
We
the
all
guy,
did.
mate.
So even then, you had that dream.
I just wanted to be a skateboard star. I wanted to be Steve Olsen and Bobby Valdez, whoever, Mickey Alba, whoever's the
then
hero.
I was going to ask, so who were the people you wanted to be? Like, for me, when my first ever movie was Future Primitive, then Public Domain.
Yep.
And it was like, I want to be Steve Caballero. Oh, no, I wanted to be Tommy Guerrero.
See,
And
I
so
still
that's
stand.
like a generation after or two.
After all that bit of Tommy Guerrero to Future Primitive, grooving down that hill,
Yeah.
is still some of the best skateboarding I've ever seen. Nothing makes you just want to just jump on and...
Like, do you think even after all your years of skateboarding, was it one of the most breakthrough things you'd seen for that?
No, it was just the grooviest. It's like drumming.
Okay.
I put Future Primitive on.
Okay.
And played drums to that.
So the music, the flow of what he was
Everything
doing.
is groove, And then I saw that hill when I went to San Francisco and went, dude, you're freaking joking, mate.
Gnarly, eh?
You're going to do 220 there and jump off that? I'm not. I'm going to walk down there. Yeah, it was amazing, to walk. But I just love that groove. I just love that motion. He just made it so groovy,
Oh, dude.
A little bit exaggerated, but, he could pull it off back then. By the time we got to Yabble Dabble, yeah, things were struggling. But, before that, it's totally cool.
Was it Animal Chin?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The
first, I've seen Future Primitive, then Animal Chin, not Public Domain. But yeah.
Yeah, just like anything in the 80s, it just got so coin. You got bracelets, you got trinkets, you got freaking key rings, watches.
So you did make a conscious decision to let go of the dream? You're like, this isn't going to happen?
What,
to be a pro skater?
Well, when you're young, you just want to be Errol. Errol's the guy. He's in an ad. And
Errol is Adrian Jones.
Adrian Jones, yeah. So he's the guy.
Thank you, Ty.
He was the guy when I was. He was. We could go and bullshit that we knew that guy in the Chiquito ad, even though we looked at him at Pinball Pool, which was a chocolate bar back in the 70s.
I know.
And,
Do they still make them?
I have seen them in semi-recent years in the last decade or so.
Yeah, they'd put some crap in it to make it not taste like it did.
So you knew he was in a Chiquito ad?
Yeah, but I could bullshit at school and go, oh, I know that guy. So one day called me all out, because I had to go to the beach with them and watch them not surf. They'd paddle out the back but not catch a wave. And I go, well, what are you doing? Oh, I didn't like them, Right. And I said, you dickheads, you carry that stupid thing, you got to pay all the fares to get it there, you don't even surf it. And all we did was cop to flog them when we got off the ferry. Westie kids with the surfboard, the Beach Boys are just waiting to give it to you.
Surf culture, man.
Yeah, so the Corso was like one of those things where they beat you up when you're walking down the tunnel. Anyway, it's in all the old movies. You got to walk through the little tube and everyone beats the shit out of you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that a surf thing?
No, it's just I think it's a native kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I forget the word. But anyway, that's what it was like going into the Corso when you were from Blacktown.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the end, I was like...
So Manly would be your go-to beach or Bondi?
Never went to Bondi.
Is that because Ty was there?
Yeah, he had a really heavy reputation. Yeah, he was the baddest boy of all the dock workers that lived down there.
But
No, it was just like a
go to
no
Manly.
Manly
was
Manly was like, okay, it's all Manly. And then I remember going to Maroubra one morning, and I lived in Coffs Harbour for 10 years too, but I saw this sunset at Maroubra. Still magic. Still, I remember that dark brick wall, water, just going, that is...
Sunrise, you mean?
Sunrise, exactly what I didn't say. Yeah, that was a classic. So even when I lived in Coffs Harbour, I didn't even get up to ever look at one. And it was only across the road. But I always just wanted to remember that one. I went, no, that was a classic.
That's sweet, man.
I can still see that now, like in my head, I can still see that one morning where I went, geez, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's a bit nicer than my front yard.
Yeah. Yeah, we take it for granted here on the East Coast. We get to see the sun rising over sea.
Yeah.
A lot of parts of the world, it's the sun setting over sea, which is still nice too.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah. It's an interesting one.
Never felt compelled to get into surfing?
Well, when I moved to Coffs Harbour, I learned at 40. I sucked.
Did you?
Yeah, I just thought, cool. I was only on a longboard.
Never too late.
I thought the little boards were so wobbly, it was probably me.
Loose trucks.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of guys balancing perfectly on them, but I seemed to really struggle. But I never had any swimming ability. I never had any He-Man muscle up here to paddle. So I'd get out paddle. Do you know that you go to the... So I've always figured skateboarding to surfing. Skateboarding, it's always perfect. Wave's always good. 10 foot, perfect. You get 100 goes. Surfing, if it was good, well, again, I didn't have a ticket number, kook to the back, thank you, no, and 50 people will just paddle in on you, because then it's all vibed out and...
No one's giving you a wave.
So I just, in my own little world out there, all I did was learn longboard tricks. Hang 10, switch foot, all this stuff I watch in these Hawaiian longboard movies. I just go straight out and do that. I just find a little wave I could play on and walk the board and hang 10 and think I'm Joel Tudor and just thought I was, totally cool. But then as soon as I moved back here, it was too far.
Can you tell us about that transition to Port Macquarie? Oh, no, Coffs Harbour.
Coffs Harbour.
What got you up there?
And I think my kid's mum, she got transferred on the railways. And we'd been up there on holidays and it was all the beautiful fantasy. And of course you want to get out of town and a house burnt down. Yeah, that's right. So that was a bit of an epic. Yeah, so the house burnt down in Mariong, where we moved back there. Yeah, and then, it's just like, oh, what a downer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had really shithead neighbours. So the whole thing was kind of awful.
I'm sorry.
And we just up and out of there, We moved to Coffs Harbour and lived a fantasy. But you can't, unless you're local, you can't properly raise your kids.
What do you mean?
There's nothing for them to do.
Okay.
And they just want out. And they've seen dolphins. They've seen beautiful waves. They surf when it's perfect because they live there. And basically there's fuck all to do. So they just get over it. That's why, substance stuff takes over small towns because there's just nothing to do. And the kids have seen it all. So the boys, Harley was building his ramp. And in his backyard here. And that's why I moved back. It was like, okay, skateboarding's taken off. It's old school's in. I could sort of have fun in the 40s and have a good old time. Yeah.
Nice.
We jumped up a huge one then.
So we jumped a long way forward, yeah. But I just, anyway, go Tom.
Yeah.
Because we jumped so far forward, I was thinking you're taking it back. And then I was thinking of Hully. You just mentioned Andrew Hully, who's had many ramps over time. Quakers Hill.
Yeah.
So what's the Quakers story for you?
So before Quakers, Andrew had an 8-foot ramp in his backyard, right? And me and Finn were going out and we've seen it. Like, you drive past, like, there's a ramp there. It's that guy we knew Andrew from being the punk rocker guy. He had the checkered pants, mohawk and all the shit back in North Ryde. He was the punk rock guy. Him and Matt Davis, that was them. I was the rockabilly guy. Finn was the rude boy. We were all tossers, we were playing dress-ups, thinking we're cool. And so anyway, me and Finn go, okay, I think it's time to ditch the girlfriends and take up skateboarding again. So we agreed. That's it. We're
Around what year we talking here? Late 80s?
83,
Mid-80s?
84 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, about then. 85 probably.
Ditch the
85.
girlfriends.
So that was it. That was going to take up too much time. So we had to get rid of them. And we're going to be skateboarders. So then we do that. We commit. Finn was a bit better at it than me. But I've been with mine. Yeah, anyway.
At skateboarding or ditching the girlfriend?
No, ditching the girlfriend. I struggled a bit because I'd been together for a while. But anyway, I was struggling anyway, so it didn't matter. So, yeah, the rockabilly dance thing was kind of over with the girl, and, we were invincible. We won every contest. We on the TV, did all the shit, So that one was waning out like young people do, Girls get to 21 and go, "Oh, I need something new. Boring. I'm out." So, we broke up with that, and then Andrew had his 8-footer in his backyard. And then as soon as we got rid of the girlfriends, he pulls the ramp down and said, "I'm building a 10-footer," because Colin Brown just got back from America and said, "Lance, just build a 10-footer. And here's the plans in Transworld or whatever." And that's it. We all have to build this ramp and steel wood. And there's the first big ramp. Yeah, so that's how that one come around. Andrew just started building the super ramps, and once he built it, and that's where we eventually, once they got closed down at his place, we took it to Quakers Hill. So it was his ramp, and we just built it out there in the paddocks.
It's the same dimensions.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Same things, yeah.
Interesting.
So then it was just there, and then by then it's, everything's out and things are rolling and skateboarding's huge, and it's, we're in the whirlwind of being the Coke team and the blah blah team and whatever other titles.
Well, you when did you became the Coke team?
Yeah, we were in I suppose it's the second generation Coke team.
Yep.
Yeah, and we do the corny Cuban stuff. Yeah.
And who was that?
It was me, Errol, Mick Mulhall, probably Danny
Danny Van.
Finn, yeah. Andrew, I think, was in it because he was the ramp gun. Yeah, so he was the builder, and he built both those ramps, the Coke ramp and the Bonza ramp.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he was building everything basically for anyone that was any good. Yeah, he had all the ramps. But then that was it. He was done with skateboarding. His girlfriend said, "It's over, get off." So by the time we moved it to Quakers Hill, he never come and rode it again. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that was the end of that, and Andrew was just being a dad, going to work,
Where was it when? Okay, I want to talk about the first 540 you ever done. Danny Van. To your recollection?
I remember the flip at that tiny ramp at Chatswood. I mean, he could spin it. I remember he could spin it. I never saw anyone roll away. I thought it was Chris Holland, wasn't it?
Well, that's been brought up a couple of times. Conjecture between Chris, Danny, and Johnny McGrath.
Well, I heard Johnny McGrath made it. I know Danny could spin it all day long, but I don't know if he ever committed to the rollout.
He definitely made a few.
Yeah, I didn't see
at some stage. Maybe not in the first realm, but he obviously he must have made some. You never saw any.
Never saw a make.
Okay.
Well, look out.
Dano,
Controversy.
I'm not giving you a hard time out there, Dano. I'm just saying I never saw a make. I mean, I'm not saying no.
Doesn't mean it didn't happen.
That's right, but I didn't see it. It's a pretty glorious moment. Like if you had that, you'd be rattling that one to the doggies until they stop listening.
Yeah. I mean, tell us about how you felt when you actually seen someone like Danny spinning him anyway. Was it just so progressive and amazing? You're like, no way.
We saw the sequence in Transworld.
McTwist or
Yeah,
540. Actually,
well,
that's the thing.
540 is that's a wording from the next gen when everything changes in the world. There was all McTwist back then.
Right.
There was no such,
It was McTwist.
You did do a 5 in 1987. I'm going to do a 5. Nobody did that, You did a McTwist.
Okay.
There was only one word for it. It wasn't until they started defining how Tony would spin that they had to break down and go, okay, well, it wasn't like Christians, so they had to go, this is not like this. But McGill's first one, the sequence is so gnarly, he lands a millimetre off the top on concrete, to learn that. I went for one once at Quakers Hill, got upside down and went, yeah, no. And it slapped and went, okay, that's probably not for me. I'm amazed Finn never did it because he is so gymnastic.
He was.
He was so gymnastic. Amazed me he could do everything, you know. Yeah, amazing he never did it.
Okay.
But it was a burly trick and it took, you know, like, yeah. Yeah, it just probably wasn't what I thought, you know. It seemed like, yeah, I don't know how. I always looked at skateboarding as like the power guys with the Fab Five, like that was them.
Yeah.
And then Christian's there to look beautiful. And then there's all the other guys. So you sort of have more of affinity with the other guys because they were there. You know, you're not going to be a power guy.
Yeah.
And Christian's Christian, so no one's going to be that. And then, you know, you could more identify with the people that are normal.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, in the 80s, late 80s, I just thought Grosso was rad, you know.
Yeah.
He had a bit of mongrel and, you know, but I was never the guy that liked the flippity-dippity, pedantic stuff.
You were more like the fact that you even mentioned before that you really like Tommy Guerrero, who technically wasn't the most talented skater compared to the rest of the Bones Brigade, for example, like in terms of his tricks and the amount of tricks he was doing. But his whole, persona, steez, style.
Both of those two things. The first video where Lance cruises down the street on his skateboard, you know, throws the thing of the cornball out of the roof and rides off. Like that is absolutely street skating.
Yeah.
That's what made us go out on the road and relook at the world.
Gotcha.
That thing. And then Tommy Guerrero put the next one as just total groove, you know.
Yeah.
It's just more the dance that I'm into.
That was attracting you.
Just the dance.
Okay.
Just rocking on. Being part of every little bit of gutter and looking cool. And, you know, I mean, I'm not going to go down the street and touch the ground because it's just, it's not going to happen. You know, some people could do that kind of shit, but I'm not doing that because it's just, you know. So... But I appreciate, you know, if you've got your little shirt undone and you're flailing down the street and you're looking $1 million and, you know, look magic. Beautiful. It just was cool. It just looked really cool, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, I just thought it was a different realm of who we could appreciate. You know, I was a hand plant guy, so Grosso, Jeff Kendall, all them guys that just do the mad ones, you know.
Yeah. Insane. So as skating got really because skating started to blow up in the late 80s, right? Like 88, all that era. You know, did you kind of feel like, you know, because you were a Vert guy, the street guys didn't really exist too much then?
Well, they were just a little element, but the little element was picking up numbers.
Yeah. And
you know, as it got harder to ride a Vert ramp or the level becomes so it got too hard, like everything. Gets too hard, someone's going to go back and start somewhere else because that shit's just straight too hard.
Okay.
So by the time you get to 88 and the power guys are just, like the tricks are insane, you know, the average kid can't go and get enough goes to ever learn that shit. Gotcha. There is no public ramp. Yeah. And if there is, we're there hogging all the goes.
Right.
Well, and then obviously you needed facility, half pipe, whatever, and then once the videos showed the street skating, it opened that up to the rest of America and the world, essentially, to just walk out your front door and not have to go somewhere and deal with the big dogs, like taking all the goes.
That's it. We went out there and did it after you watched the first one, we were like, yeah, we're cool skateboard guys now on the street. We're not fucking idiots. We had this little persona because we're the video about us. And we're these things in the video. So you're raging because you think you're cool and no one knows what a boneless up the gutter is. And you've got this whole world of shit that we've taken to the world with pink colours and pink shoes and whatever other candy stuff we wore, you know. But we thought we were cool. We just thought we were the coolest cats in the world.
Could you do ollies on flat ground and stuff?
Yeah, no, I could jump stuff. See, I could bunny hop. Before the street ollie was out, I could bunny hop, just run up and just ride up, grab the board, and boink, boink, boink. I could do gutter tricks.
Step off the board.
No, just jump. Boink, boink,
so
just
you'd hold the board and jump.
Just pre-grab. I could.
Where were you grabbing?
Like
probably
front side?
Yeah, you're behind the foot. Like
front side and back side?
Pure beautiful, behind the foot, yeah.
Behind the foot, backside.
It was ugly as it could get, yeah, but it was just a street bunny hop.
Like on flat ground?
Yeah, and I could jump up onto gutters and I could jump up onto a little low seat and I could jump up onto shit. So then some clown invents it with no hands and my glory's over. I forgot to...
Who was the clown?
I don't know. Well, anyway...
In your world.
There's in the crazed world of us, right, out the front of my house. We're going up the gutter and Finn just goes like, and skids his tail with this lunging sort of style. And he gets up the gutter, like
So not an ollie.
he's not an ollie, but the body was basically the same. He just couldn't jump, or we didn't jump. Or no, he jump. How do you jump on a
It like
skateboard?
popped up the gutter.
Just skidded, because he was
Like a
very,
wally?
Yeah, that's not even thought up, is it? But he just would go up and do his thing because he was very gymnastic, and get his legs in a cool spot and just zit and clock up the gutter. And I was like, that's amazing, but I'm not going to break my skateboard doing that because it's too hard to get a skateboard. You couldn't go to the shop and buy one truck. The shop's never going to sell you one truck. You're like, mate, you're dreaming. Then I got one truck.
So he didn't hit the hanger or anything on the way up?
He would belt the hanger and then, he'd click the hanger sometimes and
It's popped
it
up.
was a haymaker. It was just a, I got up the gutter without having to do the John Gray bunny hop.
No lapper.
Or Yeah, then he'd get conduit because he was an electrician. He was an apprentice electrician, so he'd get big pieces of conduit and put them on his skateboard. So that
good.
didn't hit.
Right.
And then, that's too easy to get up the
Well,
gutter.
like he put it on the hanger like a coper.
No, just over the front of the truck.
They cut it in.
Like a lapper. The
Oh,
equivalent.
okay.
Just
And
so
you
the
just-
original lapper before the lapper was invented was called a Clyde slide, which that's what it was. It was a bit of conduit cut
Did you know that?
over a
Ty?
skateboard.
Not until last night.
Yeah, and so that was invented by a guy in Florida called Clyde Rogers.
Know that.
Yeah, and then they invent a steel lapper. Like went under your kingpin
Yeah.
halfway up to the board. That's how you got up the gutter. So they were thinking of ways to get up the gutter already without having to hop off or do the step. So they were already thinking of how to get up the gutter. And then, bonk, some dude just goes,
So interesting.
the ollie was an amazing thing. I wish I learned it.
You can do it now though.
I'd be struggling.
But you would have had like a period of time that you could ollie properly with no hands.
Yeah, no.
Really?
No, I could ollie on ramps. So I learned ollies. I was the first person to do it in the half pipe. I could do them in the half pipe at Skate City. They could do them in the quarter pipes. But I had a half pipe section, so I learned it. So that contest that I won there, I did a frontside ollie in that. So that's 1979.
No grab.
No grab in the half pipe. I could do a hand plant.
And you were touching the tail, not just popping off the coping.
Just going off it was that concept. In the magazine, you went off the coping. You just lifted up your skateboard and flicked.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Okay.
So I could still do the flick at Monavale over the channel, but it was just a hideous flick. So, and then I broke my ankle doing it in the half pipe. And I broke my back truck and I had to climb. I said to Wedge, my skateboard's gone over there. And he just went, you're fucked. That was my only skateboard, so there was no way. So I had to climb under Skate City on one leg to get my skateboard. Then I finally found that the tide's coming in. I didn't know anything about tides either because I'm from the burbs. But anyway, I was getting wet and I only had one truck, so I was shattered. So I had to find the truck.
So wait, where'd the board go exactly?
Went over the wall at Skate City and down into the rocks. And the only way you could get through where there was to
Okay.
go out onto the beach and underneath the whole complex.
It's there. Okay, sorry, just there.
Yeah, so the boy from the burbs is in hell. I'm like, this is fucking sketchy. I'm a goner down here. So, and then I used my skateboard to hobble home. Because my mates went, the ferry's coming, see ya. And they just jumped on the ferry.
No way.
Yeah, and then they're at the shop eating paddle pops when I finally got there an hour later, laughing at me as I walked down the hill on my one leg, using my skateboard as a walking stick, but there was no way I was going to leave it there. So I stopped doing them after that. I just stopped doing it.
Yeah.
I broke my ankle and went, what a bummer. That's a real downer. I broke my skateboard too. That's even more heartbreaking. Because Indies didn't have a straight through pin. The pin was attached into the base plate. So there was no changing the kingpin. No, you need a truck.
Of course.
Ratchet. I'm out of money.
They're expensive.
Yeah, I got $5, I think, would be my maximum money for the skateboard day. And that was $1.25 for the ticket, $2.50 for the session, and an icy. I think that was me.
Wow.
You had to judge this icy. It was all important. Make sure no one's around so you don't have to share it, Which is serious stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how it would work. Yeah, and I got to go and get my skateboard. So then I stopped doing ollies after that. But yeah, when first I just walked, as soon as I saw it in the magazine, I went out to my ramp that day and just learned it. Like it was, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't look hard to me.
Was that Alan Gelfand?
Yeah, it was Alan
Song
Gelfand.
too?
Did it. Yeah. Yeah, you just could go, okay. That's cool.
Who was your first actual sponsor? Would you say?
Mate, Cockroach, probably.
Okay.
Man, they still give me stuff. Still on the team.
That's
the one good thing. But I was never sponsor guy. I never got anything.
You must
anything,
have
I got
had
nothing.
periods of time you were getting stuff, sure.
Shit, no.
Interesting.
I got that board from Alva.
Tony Alva gave it to you.
And that one actually come from Alva America. So that when they said you're on the kiddies team.
So you were on a team.
On Alva, yeah. So that was pretty glorious. That is pretty fucking
How'd
glorious.
that come about?
Colin Brown?
Okay.
Yeah.
He was distroing Alba, wasn't he?
He was about to. He was going to start. So that's a Dave Duncan long before Dave Duncan was still an amateur. He wasn't even, that's why it's that board. So that's probably the only, I got a couple from Colin, but the only real one is that one. So
Wow.
it's why the only one I keep. I just go, okay, that's pretty,
sick.
that was kind of a magic day.
That is magic.
Do you want to ride for Alva? Well, fuck me. Do I ever?
How old were you? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, I had the shop by then.
So in your 20s?
Yeah.
How long did the shop last for before it started to come to an end?
4 or 5 years. Yeah, it's very exciting. And then, so I think 86, 87 maybe.
Okay.
We started it. And then, by 91 it was dust.
Yeah.
91 was a ghost town because by then we were in the bad with the Hills. So they wouldn't send me shit stuff. I couldn't progress.
The Hill Brothers.
Yeah, so the Hills and whoever the dude that did Power were in cahoots.
John Hurren.
Yeah. So you had to pay the piper if you wanted to play with those two. So you had to have a lot of money and they would select what you get. So Surf Dive and Ski would always get the premium shit and you'd get the lower shit because Surf Dive and Ski were $1 billion a month and we were fuck all. So it become dog eat dog and, you couldn't sell a magazine. So if they sent you 5 magazines, that was big money. But there's no money. So you just ate crap,
Mm.
I can still go in there in the shed and find shit,
Yeah.
from the skateboard shop and go.
Ty, you might know this. When was Fairfield Vert Ramp built?
89-ish? Yeah, about 89-ish, I would
89?
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, it was a step up from Mona and that, which was before that.
And then you'd start skating there when that happened, when that started?
Yeah, that become the rage. We become all the rage. Same thing, the fly guys are killing it. Lux is flying. Mick Mulholland's flying. Yeah, there was just the gen was coming along. It was good fun for a while. But
who would you consider that generation, the Fairfield sort of generation coming up?
So I didn't
Who
really
stood out
see.
for you?
No, it was just obnoxious. Yeah, the whole thing was obnoxious, basically. It was good fun, but by then it was very narky. Yeah, everyone wanted to be a shithead. Everyone wanted to bitch about and hate this and be spiteful. And there was a whole, the Lee and Gregor influence, that just poisoned the fun almost.
In what way, though? Like, why?
Narky. Everyone was narky.
Why,
Everyone
you
was
think they-
pressurising, and it was
Do you
just.
think they kind of were leading that?
They just left a little stain. Not Lee, but Gregor was good at manipulating how things were going to be played.
Things as in what, like sponsorship, competitions?
Yeah, well, like if you went through their school, you were coming out pretty damn good. Jason Ellis, Gary Valentine, that Matt Anderson guy, they all got thrashed. Tony Hallam, all them dudes. You
that all hardcore?
You had to be one of them. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why they're all so good. Got beautiful style, got beautiful technique. Because all the Kiwis rip because they had to go through the school of terror. And if you wanted to be, you couldn't just do it. You had to do it perfect, or you were, Gregor would just write you off. So they were so narky. Yeah.
And that kind of sort of poisoned it for you, considering what you'd come from earlier.
Yeah, I think it was probably, again, it's probably just me going, I'm over it, or I can't keep up, or something. Something gives you your grumpy old man syndrome. You're just getting, you're getting dated. You're getting dusted. There's no doubt about it. And you don't want that to happen, but it happens. You can see it's happening everywhere. It always happens, 1 minute, next minute, no,
Do you remember when Finn had the idea to open Curb and Coping?
Yeah, he did it because I did it. So I had Get Rad.
Right.
So Get Rad come from a stamp. Finn used to have got a rubber stamp made because you could go to the post office and for $14 get a rubber stamp made.
So sick.
And so he got one with Get Rad. And we'd stamp everyone with Get Rad. Become drunk at night, don't you? Get Rad sticker on your head. Yeah. So
Have you still got that stamp?
No, that's long gone. I had it. I know. Yeah, so he invented the word, and I rang up when I started my shop and said, can I use, can I use that?
Yeah.
Get Rad. Classic. That's how we started that one.
So good, dude.
Yeah, so he named Get Rad.
Get Rad. How good.
So sick.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. And then he used to go, how's it going? I go, dude, I can't even, you can't get in the door. I didn't make any money because there was no profit in it.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing concept because the skateboard's not that much different than to what it is now, as opposed to a carton of milk. Unbelievable.
In terms of inflation,
there's no value in a skateboard. You still get a gun skateboard for $300.
we've talked about it before in the past.
It's ridiculous.
How the prices have stayed the same.
It's just changed now. Things are just
so
gone
what
up
do you pay
recently.
for a deck? So back then they wanted me to charge, look, I used to charge $100 for a deck and the Hills barred me for selling them too cheap back then, right? So I was making F4 and I was giving kids stickers and I was being a dick. I was Mr. Nice. Couldn't help myself. I've come up poor and I'd see these little rat kids come in and know they got no cash and they just want to, yeah, man, have a sticker. But, you give them some $2. Yeah, have a buck, have $2. Yeah, that's brain dead. If it was money, I wouldn't give it to anyone. But because it was a token of what I loved and I wanted them to love, give money away like an idiot. So, yeah, you just, there's no, it would cost $80 back then or something, landed. And what does it cost now? There's no, it hasn't gone up at all. Wheels were $40. I think I paid $40 for Bones Cubics back in $7 or $8 a wheel, like $9 a wheel back then. It was megabucks.
Yeah. Then they went down a bit, I think, for the wheels, but the decks are pretty much starting at 150 now. Now it's 160, 170, 180.
Is that just certain brands?
So that's what you pay for one of them power
most-
sports.
It's
We're
most
talking
brands.
FA and hockey.
They're between 180 and 200, but now you've got like heaps of the brands starting at least 140.
Okay.
Pretty much.
It's
just
got to be
recently
because
gone
there's
up.
nothing in the shop for it. There's no money in it. What does that cost the shop, though? I know I can't ask that question. That's public. Hang on a minute. Wait.
Ty's not going to say.
No, so I'd say that one. Otherwise, there's no coin in it for the business.
Yeah, tell us, Ty. No, I'm joking, mate.
No.
Fully imported. No, so everything we got comes straight from America. But the classic is, right, back in the 70s, when Santa Cruz had this board called the Bevel, the Santa Cruz Sauber Bevel, that got made in Girraween, which is just up the street.
No way.
And Power Bonites would get made in the same factory.
No way.
So we
In
could
Australia?
get in Australia. They were made here and sent over there and
No.
then sent back to us. We could go there and buy a Bonite blank for $5. We use them to sandboard because they were fast.
Right.
And then you could buy a Santa Cruz Bevel, the same blank.
Yeah.
All the upturned noses, all the steps. We put water in it. We used to laugh, put water in it because it could hold water.
Yeah.
And
concave.
they cost $5.
I've never heard that ever.
Yeah, RF products in Girraween.
Wow.
Yeah, we could just go and get them, and you go, well, how come our board's just like that board? And I'm not going to buy one of them Bono boards with power sticker on it because they explode in about 3 seconds.
Yeah, and then it turns like it was not just like cardboard.
Well, it
Come
was
on,
just the
man.
cheapest wood in the world with a bit of plastic shit on it to hold together.
It goes so soggy.
Particle boards, yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't keep them for long; they were useless. And then we could get all other kind of blanks. So we just rode these $5 blanks for years. We made our own skateboards.
Wow.
Had an Eddie El Gura that I got.
So you'd buy the blank and cut it out sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the boys did,
Well, just with the jigsaw and
Oh,
make your own shapes and
maybe someone had a jigsaw.
or just done by hand.
Chances are pretty good. Chance are pretty good. They probably went like that down the street, straight in the bent line. That's how the others go, but, that's just what we used to. And for $5, it's better than
100.
So you think like Finn was inspired by your shop
Oh, yeah.
when he opened Curb and Coping?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was straight into
We're
it.
giving him advice and stuff on it.
Yeah, we were best buddies. We just hung out every day, all day, every day. So,
because that was the first skate shop I ever went into.
yeah. Which one? The little
Curb and Coping.
the can one? Yep.
In Fairfield, the small one.
On the street or the one in the canteen?
Oh, no. The one on the street.
Yeah, the one on the street.
Did he have one in the canteen at Fairfield Pool?
Yeah, and he got rolled there too. So he got robbed, and I think the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was scarier than my place.
So was that first the pool and then the street?
Yeah, I think so because they got
I went to
splattered
the
in the canteen. Got rolled one night,
Oh,
because that's going to you're going out there.
it was gnarly out there. I remember.
Yeah, it was scarier than where I lived.
Yeah. It was full on, man.
Yeah, so that's what happened. He said the same thing. See, the new rap gangsters of the areas would line the station, and if you were a
Homeboys.
skateboarder, you were gone.
Oh, man, we used to be terrified. We'd catch the train up from Nowra and the skate from Fairfield train station to the pool. We were terrified,
Yeah.
like of the homeboys.
Oh, yeah, it was a whole new deal. So it
Yeah.
was just, everything was awful. It was all ugly.
homies.
Everything was ugly. I just went, I hate this.
Interesting time, eh?
Can't be bothered with it anymore. It's all too not what I thought it was.
The streets are heaps safer these days, in my opinion,
Eh,
for a lot of reasons.
I mean, I don't think you just put yourself in places. As you get older, you just don't put yourself there, do you? No. If you want to put yourself in somewhere sketchy, then it's not hard. But yeah,
So when modern day street skating started to boom in the early 90s, they often talk about the Great Depression where like skating sort of died, but really like street skating was born. Like it was like that modern street skating, early 90s, 91, the Blind video came out and it just sort of changed the game a bit. Like as a vert skater, what were you thinking? Were you like, we're done now?
yeah, it was done. I was done. I was over it.
Okay.
That just wasn't going to be for me. I didn't like any of it.
Yeah.
Tom Knox was rad. Remember that was rad. Ray Barbie was rad. And then it changed. So by the time, he's the dude, the man who killed skateboarding? Rocco, yeah. Yeah, so that guy, by the time he gets there, it's all awful. Everything's ugly, in my opinion. It wasn't nothing to do with...
Oh, you didn't like the baggy jeans and the small wheels?
Man, well, look, the thing doesn't go. Dude, that's all I said, mate. The thing doesn't fucking go. So they stopped. Okay, they stopped because it was too hard, right? Skateboarding's just straight up too hard. Vert skating's straight too hard. If you look at I'm going to be Tony Hawk, well, you're not. That's it. That was the answer to the question. So, hence why 50 of them fall off the rails and end up, wrecked like half of us because it was just too brutal. You got dusted. You get left in the wind by a generation of baggy pants, tiny wheels. So they stopped the skateboard. They learned all these amazing little frimplet tricks, right?
Yeah.
And then they start getting the wheels bigger because you got to roll again. It's a rolling toy. It's not a stopping toy. So then, like the shops put this V8 supercar skateboard in Target, it does not go. That thing does not roll, But, well, it's not a skateboard. Skateboard rolls and turns. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that was just too much for me to cope with, that whole poke. And amazing the stuff they learned, but I just didn't get where... Yeah, no, it just left me.
Okay.
So it was a definite difference in what I thought and where it was going.
Did you stop skating for a while?
Yeah, just was the dad.
Just stopped?
Just become a dad.
Okay.
Moved to Coffs Harbour. Thought I was a surf cat.
How many kids do you have?
3.
3?
Yep. So my oldest is 30, Emily's 30.
Yeah.
So, Benny's a big boy now.
Mm.
So, they're all grown up and parents.
Yeah.
So,
Were you a young dad?
No, 28, something like that. No, I had a whole lot of skateboard fun before I sort of thought, yeah. I didn't do it that way. It was just didn't happen that way. That I just went through the whole skateboarding phase, and when I knew it was my turn to, they're going and I'm stopping.
Yeah.
Or they're sailing forward. I never didn't ride a skateboard, but I just didn't associate with skateboarding.
Okay.
And then I'd go and visit Ted, which is Steve Sargent, down at Newport, and he'd be going, you can't ride that board, that shape board anymore. I go, why not? I said, well, nobody rides one of them. I said, well, can you do any of the fucking tricks that they do on them skateboards? No. I said, well, what's the fucking difference then? You can't do that shit anyway, mate. See, like you're just following a rule book, and it was like you have to wear this and you have to do that. And then we went and built, me and Ted went and built this thing for a Volcom demo. And, Peanut's there, and he's the coolest cat in the world. He's always so nice. And gives me the shopping trolley and says, go for your life, mate, Go for your life in the factory. So I'm like, well, this is gold.
No way.
Man, every pair of pants is like this fucking big.
Yeah.
I go, how many people fit in these, dude? What, 9? None of us get in these things, do we? I said, nothing fits me. I said, size 32, man, it's hanging off my knees. What the I couldn't get one thing. I got a couple of Stone thing shirts that I had an option to get.
Not the Volcom Stone.
The Volcom Stone thing. I just got 2 shirts. I went, this is the only thing I wear. At least they're normal. Everything else is the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Shirts this big, and I'm skinny to start off. I'm not going to put myself in a bigger plastic bag.
Yeah.
I'm struggling here already.
So you're like, I'm just dated now.
Yeah, exactly that. I was just dated, I was just dated. And I think I was a little bit scorned. I remember when I closed the skateboard shop. Yeah, that's right. I didn't wear skateboard stuff. I wouldn't wear anything skateboarding.
Why?
Must have been dirty about it.
Boycotting it?
Just being a little narc.
Okay. You don't seem like a bitter person.
No, well, you just got, it was everything, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's not, you're gone.
So
and your ego's gone. I think nothing's gone from skateboarding. Nothing's gone from me. I can still do all the same stuff I could do, but your little where you put your head trip gets a little bit of a smack in the chops.
And did you also feel like you dedicated so much to it that it hadn't, panned out how you might have imagined it to?
Yeah, but again, that's just ego, isn't it? You just have this delusion of what you think you are in this giant thing. We're nothing. All those top places are taken by someone who's done something incredible. You just want to be in this little section where you were, but you can't be.
Did you feel like it owed you something?
Probably when you're bitter, you think that, but I don't think I got to that. I just think it got way beyond me. And then the next, like the street direction was not me. I was not going to do that. So the first trick was hard. Then they can't kick flipping. Well, I can't do that either. So then, then it's this one and that one and that one after the shove it, and the G-turn. Just, that's me. That's as far as I go, Yeah, so I just didn't pursue it where I've got a tiny little skateboard that's got full super turning trucks, tiny little racing trucks, and I can ride that round here and do 360s in this room, and it turns perfect. That's my version of street skating.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a car park just up the road. That's a forever wave. And I just go and surf that.
Nice.
And it just, to me, is beautiful. But I couldn't tell you the last time I put a big skateboard, like a real skateboard, on the road and rode down the hill. That hurts my bones. That rattles so hard, 100A wheels and I watch them guys go through the tiles. 100. Why don't they stop? Why do I slam on this little gap here, and those dudes don't? They just power across, terracotta tiles 100 miles an hour. No problem.
Yeah.
Why don't you slam?
When the skate shop ended then, and you said, and then the early 90s came, what were you doing for work? What did you go back to any trade or anything?
No, I worked in, I worked in pubs.
Okay.
Yeah, we just worked in a social kind of,
Yep.
without responsibility.
And you were doing that to support your family as well?
Yeah. So then I had to get a jewellery job again. That was it wasn't the last time I went back, though. When I went back to being a jeweller again, because I had to.
So would that involve actually making the ring, making the ring and the setting?
Yeah, I did all that stuff.
That's a full-on art form.
Yeah, it was. I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm very trinkety. I like to draw and I like to paint and I like to do all that stuff. So,
it's like a craftsman, really.
Yeah, and it's like anything, there's Tony Hawk's and Caballeros in jewellery world.
Yeah.
And you get to a point and you go, they're pretty good.
So you had like jewelers that you looked up to.
Yeah, it's jewellery styles you look up to. I was working in the city, so I'm living out here.
Yeah.
And the last one I did was in an opal merchant in the Rocks. So it was all international people, so they're miles ahead, like the world, like anything's 5 years ahead where it's being made. So European jewellery is 5 years ahead in style, technique, flash. And I wanted to make that, but people didn't want it. So I just got bored, And then it was easier for me to just stay working in the pub and having a good time than it was to struggle in the jewellery business.
Yeah.
And I was happy to get out. It was always the stain of, the bad old days. So I just didn't want to go back to the industry.
So that trauma really, really stuck with you, yeah.
Oh, should you?
I can imagine, man. I'm
It's
sorry.
made me cautious my whole life. It made me very observant. It made me always go,
Yeah.
righto, where am I? Why am I here? Should I be here? So what's that? Where you put yourself.
Yeah.
Better sense of awareness.
It just made me really look at what some dude's doing. Psychoanalyze everything, probably. Nightmare.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, I just think, which is good if you're, using it for art or using it for something.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've overcome it to an extent? Or it's lingered? Yeah.
You're over it as soon as you're over it. I'm able to get up the next day and go to work. Or 2 days later, I had to go back in the same jewellery shop. You can't just go, well, that's going to be today. It's not. It's like you have a car accident, you just get back in the car because we don't think of that as a.
It's like PTSD, really.
Yeah, you can have that, but it's it's just a moment. Okay, I remember looking at the guy, going, "Oh, sketchy looking character," and then he's standing right next to me. So I was there and aware of enough to go.
You're kind of kicking yourself like,
stupid.
How did I not see that?
You make 2 mistakes and that's everything. I didn't close the door behind me. Stupid idea. Pay the piper. But that's not thinking fast enough. That's being lazy and, so I just don't, I'm just cautious.
Yeah.
It definitely made me life very cautious, when I worked in the pubs. I'm not, definitely not built to war, but I was pretty good at thinking and seeing who was going to be. It was dangerous.
Hyper aware, hyper vigilant.
Yeah. So, I just did that and then I went and did warehousing. I probably did that. Warehousing in the pub. I work in Penrith Leagues or whatever. Resident club was always entertaining.
Yeah.
Going out, getting paid.
Interesting.
So I just did that for years and then we moved up to Coffs Harbour. Then I had to go back to the jewellery business again.
Right.
And then I really hated that. Until I went to Mr. Minute and worked there when I really hated that one. Now, that was the bottom of the barrel.
Why? Because you were the key cutting. Did it feel below your...
It's just you're in this little box, in this little thing, you can't escape.
Yeah.
And it's just horrible. Horrible.
Oh, bro.
Horrible. Yeah, I like the key cutting. But it's Mr. Minute. See, so everything's got to happen in 5 seconds.
So it was under pressure. And...
Yeah, it's not someone else's nightmare,
Interesting.
I just put myself in another silly position.
And how'd you get out of that?
I was a postman.
Is that a good job?
I was doing it on the Pacific Highway. Yeah, it was pretty scary. But then I'd have 2 little beach towns. I'd do...
Was that your run?
Yeah.
So you rode a postie?
No, I do it in my Hyundai. Full, dart across the road,
Oh,
across the Pacific Highway. Yeah, it was so sketchy. And then I'd come down the back roads. This one part I was doing in Upper Corindo, which was over the other side of the highway, and there was this goanna there, and it'd be as big as the car.
Wow.
We'd stand on the rock sometimes. I'd like to stop and go, "Are we delivering mail today, mate, or not?" If he was standing on the road going, "Don't even think about it,"
Yeah.
I'm out of there. It was bigger than my car. The thing was gigantic.
Hey, sorry, listen, I've got to pee real bad. This happens in the podcast. Ty, take it. It's all you now. I'm just going to be a minute. Can you want to take it on?
Sure.
Cool.
Well, yeah. So,
yeah, I just did the postie run and, I survived that one and then we just moved back and then what did I do? I can't even remember. Wild one.
when did you get into cars? You said you were doing some stuff with cars. Does that work?
Yeah, that was the family mechanics business there. So my sister and her ex-husband had a big mechanical workshop. So I just went and worked there for 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
9 years, not quite 10. Didn't quite make it. But it was, it's hard yakka. It's family work, you know.
Sure.
You
sure.
got to do that. But more, I just have a love of cars, you know. I've always been my brother took me to the car races when I was a kid. And I think I saw my first Finn car there and went, that's me. That's me. You know, like the skateboard, the cars and the drum set have always just been instant love.
I've always seen you've had a bit of a thing for cars, like over time, once I got to know you better.
Yeah, always. Always. I think I bought my first 1950s car when I was 19 or 20.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had an old Ford back then. Then I had the hotted up thing through Get Rad.
Yeah.
I had the HG Brougham with the big motor and the 50 gallons of petrol a minute. But that was fun. Me and Sack would blast down from, Simon Reynolds would pound down from Get Rad when we closed the shop with, you know, Back in Black on full thing in the car and, you know, blowing raw petrol out the back like an idiot because it was tuned wrong. But it was so fun, you know, and that was the beast. We'd always get around in that. I could always hear all the Spittle and Springer and all them guys in the back stealing money under the seat. Because I used to just chuck money under the seat, you know, chuck coins under there. And
Yeah, right. Just take it.
and I stop at the shop, Johnny, you know, we left Mount Vale, haven't got a cent, but they get out of the car halfway to Harris Park and they got $4 each. Hey. But that's just how it was. It was fun for the boys.
Have you got any Get Rad stickers left?
I think I've got one in an album or two in an album, but it's the worst sticker in the world. It was just so terrible.
What do you mean?
The chatter one, it was just so lame. I think about that
What do you
artwork.
mean lame?
It's just like, that was exciting, you know. Chatter. I got this. Remember Dave Clancy did it for me. So he had this. I got this font. That's why it's the exact same font as on Edge. That was his clothing company back then, and we used the same font. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty stale. But, you know, at the time, it was exciting.
80s, like
It was,
whatever.
yeah, it was in the 80s, and it was exciting. It was on clear plastic, so at least it wasn't white. That's good.
Yeah.
So, but I think I got a couple in a photo album somewhere. Yeah, in these drawers, there's stuff, tons of stuff, collections of Gold Wing stickers and tons of junk.
They were my first trucks, Gold
Yeah.
Wings.
Oh well. Hey, you can go home with one of every sticker they've got,
Wow. I'll take it.
and an armband that comes with it. I've even got the token little stitched armband you get to tie on, and whoa.
Hey, if we fast forward through the 90s into the early 2000s, like at what stage did you say, hey, I'm going to start competing in some bowl comps and some, you know, Masters division stuff?
You know, they had the old school jams. All of a sudden, you know, Bradshaw's putting on old school jams, and like I said, the Dogtown documentary changed everything, right? So that put
that
us.
was, what was that, like 2005?
That's 2004
4 or
Six?
5 or somewhere there.
Yeah, it's really early. But then all of a
the one
sudden,
that was the one that was narrated by Sean Penn.
Yep.
Yeah. Dogtown and
just to-
Z-Boys.
Yeah, the documentaries. Not like the
not
movie.
to be mistaken by the movie that came out shortly after.
Yeah, well, I didn't even actually hate the movie. Amazing how many of my kids loved the movie. You know, but
It was kind of cool. They did as good a job as possible.
Yeah, skateboarding was ripping in it. You know, like
Emil Hirsch.
they were killing it. You know, Jeez, that's hard stuff on them little boards. I don't think I'd take on one of them backyard pools I saw over there on a 8-inch wide board. They're gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when sort of the movie gave it credibility, and then Brad starts doing the old school thing, and then people are trading vintage skateboards, and all of a sudden, again, you're back on the whirlwind. Okay, so I just hop back on the whirlwind. Hey, here comes the train.
Well, bowls started showing up a bit more too.
Yeah,
right?
and there's concrete to ride, and there's something to ride, you know, the skate parks. All of a sudden, it's a different place to be a skateboarder again. Well, it's worth being a skateboarder again. Okay, because I could do my stuff again. Don't have to jump down 14 stairs. You know, I walk down 14 stairs. There's no jumping. There's no skidding. There's walking. That's all I do. You know? So that means I can do what I do again. So all my old junk is back in again. So I just picked up the same wheel basically every time with the same tricks. It's been classic.
Yeah.
Great stuff. For sure.
It just keeps coming round. So I just wait for the cycle to catch me, you know? And, you know, like street skating's had its 20, 30, 40 years. And, of course, it's too hard now. Okay, so you want to be a street skater. It's not just you got to go and take on that shit and smash yourself and be broken. And it's just that's too gnarly.
It's gnarly.
Yeah, it's way too gnarly.
For the potential reward. I mean, I know a lot of those guys do it for the love, but the consequence and the damage you can do to your body,
yeah,
there's
you know,
no compensation for that.
You're just not, 25 forever.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting past that, you know. It's so burly. But when I was at Bill's Wheels, at that skateboard shop in Santa Cruz, and David Gonzalez is in there. That looks like a rock star.
Yeah.
And we walk out the door. That dude, said, see you, Bill, you know, rode down the little footpath, ollied a car, and cruised up to his own car. And I went, that's fucking cool.
Yeah. Oh,
Dude.
that guy's a maniac.
You just ollied a car without even
Well, off a
blinking.
curb cut or something.
Pooh, just ollied the whole front of this car. Was in his way.
Like off a curb cut.
Yeah, you come down the driveway
Yeah,
out
okay.
of the shop and just went donk.
Wow.
And then skidded up to his car, opened the door. I'm like, man,
Yeah, he's a charger, that guy.
that's rock star stuff. You know, that's so impressive. Just those little flips for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I appreciate the blood sport of street skating. The other part I think is weird.
What do you mean the other
The
part?
Olympics.
Well,
So you guys are street guys, right? You've experienced that, like, so you've lived all through it.
okay.
So at the last Olympics, I'd stated this clearly to Errol before. I said, I'd just make my state to you because you're Errol, and you know. I said, when they undress street skating and you take the broken beer bottle out and you take the tattoos away and the long hair and the yeah bros and the 20 attempts and you put it in a little outfit and put it on a 2-foot handrail on a stage, that's not going to be pretty.
Right.
And I don't think it was.
You don't?
I don't think the street skating last Olympics was, I thought, wow, that's kind of, dude, come on.
Okay. Do you think it?
The 100-metre guy makes 100 metres. Okay, if you can't make something, don't do it. This is the Olympics. You've got to go there with game. And it's not that it's the Olympics, it's just that's the level of that pastime, that sport, that level. If you want to go there, like the bowl guys just killed it.
So you thought the bowl was okay?
Oh, yeah, they were rad.
So you think the street stuff didn't represent skateboarding?
Well, not mongrel
That's good.
skateboarding. I think it goes in a weird... I think it can only go in a stranger direction where those little kids are going to become machines. Brr, 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 brr. Turbo flip, 50,000 flips. Looks like a video game. Brr, 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 brr. Because they're never going to fall off. Once you're pre-programmed to learn that, you know, like the little Asian kids who will just spend 50 hours a day learning whatever technical flip in 5 directions, there's no problem.
Yeah.
In 5 years from now, they'll have that so mastered. That will just be a turbo flipping contest. You know, the ribbon dance and the ball dance, it can only be a little bit of artistic, and they unjudge it. They won't go, that was rad. They go, well, he didn't have his finger in the right spot for that one. And if you're going to unjudge something, then it instantly stinks.
Well, that's already happening, isn't it, Ty?
Yeah.
And you get unjudged. It's the worst thing they do, unjudge, you know. They take the mongrel out, let the mongrel be in it, you know.
Well, I think though it's interesting because there was skateboarding as a demonstration sport in the 96 for the 96 Olympics, and they had that X ramp with Danny Way and a couple others were skating, and as time progressed, I realised why it didn't get introduced sooner, and it was exactly for the reason that street skating was still essentially developing in the super technical realm.
Yeah.
And it wasn't consistent enough, basically. I mean, the Big Brother magazines, all the magazines at the time showed that by using video grab to show sequences of tricks and stuff because it was a waste of film. It was too much film
to get for
to get it right. So, and then by the time I did find the street in the Tokyo Olympics interesting because, the bowl comp, they basically mostly all made runs except for obviously those who bailed, but there was a lot of runs made. But the street, there was a lot of inconsistency in the street. Even, I essentially had some expectations of, let's say Niger.
Of course.
And others. And then he just didn't cut it. I respect that he put it all on the line and tried to do his hardest stuff because he's like, it's the Olympics. I got to make it hard and all that. And I think skating was at the point consistent enough to be able to do that. Street League has proven that, and modern street comps for sure. But Nigel didn't make a bunch of stuff, didn't cut it, and then a bunch of dudes didn't make a lot of stuff. There was stuff made for sure.
Yeah,
and I think it's improved again since then. Street League's been going crazy, but yeah, for sure.
So, I think at Olympics, it's not us looking at it. It's the world looking at it.
Exactly.
It's our art being displayed. So the people representing that art, please have it organised. You know, it's not my ego, but it's skateboarding as a general. If you're going to take it to that level, then take it there with, you know, make sure you make it, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You got to make it, like the pole vaulter makes it.
Yeah.
They'll go as hard as they can until they can't make it anymore. You know, so I'd love to see a mongrel contest. Aren't they bringing in the steroid Olympics?
Are they?
That'd be so good.
Is
Then
that
they can
true?
They just put a full-on Animal House course in there for the monsters and just watch it.
Is that true?
Remember when Chris Russell was just hyped as a monster at Bolarama that time doing... That was one of the best things I ever saw.
Yeah, I love a bit of mongrel for sure. I think there's
just
some validity in
ferocious,
that.
you know, like, wow,
But-
stand back.
But street competitions have fluctuated over the time between tech and then, you know, Tony Trujillo and then Chris Sen and stuff, smashing whole courses. But even one of those surf dive comps, you know, actually using transition in the course and doing all that and a bit more flow and mongrel as opposed to technicality, strictly speaking, and that's highly entertaining to watch. I think park skating evolved from all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's the combo pack of the best guys, the best with all the package coming back, and they can all of a sudden do all their tricks. You know?
Yeah.
It's good the Olympics was trying to stay true to the culture, though.
Definitely.
They were trying, but maybe it's doing it a disservice as well. And so maybe it needs to evolve into a completely different discipline. You know, and I know Darren Caney's brought this up a few times, like maybe the Olympics should be just the highest air or just the biggest ollie.
It needs to be
or the longest ollie.
You know, why they don't put slalom racing in it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
like,
just a
maybe
perfect
that's what it
thing
should
the world
be.
could watch. That's right on a skateboard down.
Yeah.
Downhill's too messy. They tried downhill for all those things, but too messy.
Gotcha.
Again, people get slapped and one guy goes, 5 guys go. It's all over. Border cross is the same, classic, but visually scrappy. You know, the people want to watch a whole event. That's what they want to watch. They're pre-programmed to watch a whole event.
But what do you think, like, since it's been in the Olympics, like, do you think it's helped skateboarding?
I'm sure it must have had an undercurrent out there in some aspects, opened it up to more, you know, family groups and stuff to be able to be like, oh, yeah, you know, it's all good. It's all
totally
good for the kids to skate. All acceptable, like, definitely.
Yeah.
I honestly think there was just probably maybe nerves that everyone a lot of bails in that street comp, but also it was just one of those comps where people didn't make things, and I've watched street leagues where I've been like, it's pretty meh, and then I've watched street leagues going, my goodness, that was incredible. Yeah. So much crazy stuff.
Well, I just think as a pass, they will progress and understand what they're there for. So it'd be really cool to watch it this time to see whether they've gone, okay, that wasn't what we want to take to the world. Let's take and put the effort in to go, okay. You know, like they built a bowl. Pedro built a bowl, didn't he, for that contest? So we could qualify. Someone said they built a bowl replica of this thingy.
So we could train.
So we can train, you know. You know, that's serious. It's the real world now.
For sure. But I feel, like I said, if Nigel just tried really hard tricks and didn't make them, didn't cut it, you know, relatively speaking, for that kind of to make it, need to tone it down a notch and not go full all out, but actually make it, you know, put on the show as such, but make what you can make, like, for sure, to keep it in that realm. I mean, obviously the gymnasts and the ice skaters have to do a lot of that. They got to make their runs, and it's similar. It's freestyle.
It is
sort of stuff.
You know, that girl's doing 3 back somersaults on a 10-foot rail. It's 10 foot high and 2 inches wide. She's making it.
But you made a good point there. Like, they can just train on the exact same apparatus in their home city, whereas, like, other skateboarders are able to train in the exact same bowl where they're from, you know. Or is it, do they just have to wait till they get to the city the Olympics is on, and then they get to skate the park like a handful of times? And
Yeah.
Maybe that's the difference. I don't
Would
know.
street skating be better if they had it like as a little roadway? Is that
What do you
processable?
mean? Like a
So, like you go down the street and you do this, or you 50 tricks.
I think it'd be very entertaining from a skateboarder's perspective to actually watch it like that. It'd be interpretive in a sense, which is...
And is that going still back too much to park, or is that still real street for what you do? See, real street to me, you roll down the street, you do all stuff like bounce down the hill. That's why I still like that Tommy Guerrero thing. Not even one technical flipper in there, but it's grooving. He's grooving on every obstacle.
Yeah.
And, for my gen, when you go up the hill, stop your skateboard, pick it up, turn it round, jump back on, that's weird. That's going to be weird for someone from my generation, because the last thing you want to do is pick it up. Like paradise for me is go to a skate park, jump on my skateboard and pick it up as I'm going back to the car. I rode those endless waves in Montana, evergreen skate parks.
Amazing.
That's what you do. You just walk there, you pick your jaw up because you're amazed, and then you put your skateboard down and you pick it up when you go home 2 hours later.
Well, I did hear that they were trying to implement into Street League or some of the more recent comps that you actually did have to put the whole run together and basically hit the quarter pipes at the end. And a few guys are doing that.
Yeah, they are. They
tricks and then they'll do their tech tricks as well. But there's still the jump out factor for sure.
Yeah, that's just a strange one probably for my gen, but not for street skating because it was a set-up thing and you're learning your trick. So it's logical for you guys. This is where the generations change and, the old people like me just shut up and move over. We still have an opinion, but irrelevant. Like the kids will be looking at me going, what a dickhead. Pop's got no idea. But, the way I look at it is different to how they look at it. And I watch the Olympic street because I can't street skate. I can't do one of those tricks. So I looked at it like anyone else sitting in the pub.
Right.
2 foot high, mate, falling off. What the fuck's wrong with you? I can the girl over there just did a double back somersault on a 10 foot high rail. Get a grip, son. That's how a normal person would look at it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
How often are you skating now?
I ride Sundays with the boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
On your vert ramp in your backyard.
Yeah, just out the back. I love it. I don't really.
Who are the boys?
So Adrian Jones, he's 63. He's a god. A god. I'm
Still
telling
skating.
you, he was the king when I was a kid.
Yep.
So like I said, he's the guy in the Chiquito ad when I went to school. I could brag about knowing.
Yep.
And now 63 years old and I ride with him in the backyard.
And what's like, what tricks are you guys doing? Like you still got backside airs, invert?
I just learn them again. Just the other,
backside airs?
learn backside
So
airs. It was hideous, but I got it normal in the end. But I had to.
Over the coping.
Yeah, the funniest part, Lux is there. Like Lux is the fly guy. As if Lux can't twitch your backside air. And he's saying, dude, just do this. It's simple. But I said, I know what you're saying, but my brain can't remember how to do this trick. All I can remember is doing the same stink bug, bunny hop, bump off the halfway. And I'm doing this in front of Adrian Jones and Adam Luxford, so it's very humbling. So I'm halfway up and I had to keep bonking until I could eventually go, okay, now I'm steep enough so I can grab in front of my foot. And then once I got that, I went, okay, that's how it works. But I had to go back through the process of remembering actually how to do that because I had no concept. The same as frontside airs when I learned them out the back. I had to learn halfway up because I had no grasp of, I can sit and bail haymakers 10 times, but I can't knee slide 10 times and walk back up the ladder. That's too much.
Interesting.
That's my body can't take that. So the biggest pressure is a bad bail on my knees and going back up the ladder. It's so physical. Like me and Errol are ragged from
that.
Yeah, Lux, machine man goes up and down.
What about inverts?
Yeah, I can still do that.
Can you still do
that's my
inverts?
benchmark for my whole life. You see, I said to my mum when I was 40, I said when I was a kid, this is before the first half-pipe contest, that one, the trophy's for.
Yeah.
I said, if Mum, if you buy me these wheels, I promise you I'll still be doing this stuff at 40. So they were 2, maybe Powerflex 9s. But I needed them hand plant wheels because Bobby Valdez invented the hand plant and he rode for Powerflex. So I had to have these wheels. So I think I had green cryptos on the back because I could only ever buy 2 wheels. We're too poor. So I said to Mum, I promise you I'll still be doing this shit when I'm 40,
And
And so my 40th birthday, I was living in Coffs Harbour and I come down to Maroubra and did a hand plant in that bowl. Yeah. And right out, there you go. I'd done it all the way up to that, but, and then I've done one every year since.
No way.
So the deal is I just go out there and go. But for me, it's easy. For me, general, it's walking.
Okay.
So that's easier to do a hand plant than it is to do a nose grab backside wheeler, which is, the trick first invented.
Yeah.
But that's so hard. So sketchy, I can't see.
Yeah, that's death.
So
That's deadly, yeah.
So when you do skate, you can drop in 50-50.
Yeah.
Backside 50-50.
Yeah, rock and slide. I
to
can
fake.
basically do... I haven't done rock to fakies on this yet because I've got to go to a little place and get the psychological...
Rock and rolls, though?
Yeah.
Because you're coming in forward.
Yeah, that's all normal for me. That's just walking stuff, So everything I basically have taken to the last 10 bowleramas, I still do. Yeah, I didn't change much of anything at all. I just kept surviving, I always get a couple of years old enough to keep that little bit of, he's old. He's probably the oldest here, But Errol. So I've always had that little bit of fudge credibility to go, he's old, You pension and pop, give him a couple of bonus points. So I'd always try and have one trick every year for Bowlerama, like one new one. Well, probably an Andrecht, it's a hand plant grabbing the other way. But my deal is I haven't done an eggplant since 91.
I was about to ask about it.
I'm going to do eggplant for my 61st birthday. So that's in April.
When's that?
Yeah.
April.
It's April, yeah. So I'm going to do
Dude,
that.
you
That's
got to
the
film
one.
that and send it to me.
Yeah. I again, it's another one I have no concept of how to get into. I walk past the ramp going, it's going to be wild. Because the flick, the first flick is just completely stupid. But once I can put my hand in, if I can see it, I can land it. Basically, that's how I look. If I can see the ground when I'm up there,
Yeah.
I can land it. It's just the same.
Well, okay, what would you say to 50-year-old John Gray then? Did 50-year-old John Gray think he was done?
No, I put in a big effort for my 50 because I wanted to have these pictures for my 50th birthday. It's always ego chasing. It's just the way I am.
But looking back, though, you're like, 50, man, I was still fresh.
Oh, you're 50. I put in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
There's
so
a ramp
it's
at
not over when you're 50 or you're 50-year-olds.
No way. For my 50th, I had
Yes, Ty.
a ramp in Blacktown that had been there for years, so I got the council to repaint that. I put all this effort into learning to ride it. I was listening to Imelda May, who's a rockabilly girl, and she's a real zip tempo, and I was just loving it. And I was ride that every afternoon on my own and just learning stuff. So when I went to my 50th at Bondi and Newcastle, I was tuned for that one.
Yes, sir.
That was going to matter. That mattered to me,
Yeah.
Sick.
So,
Nice.
I know where Dave Pang's standing and I know where John Hurren and I know where Dean Turcotte are standing. So it's get that picture you want. I always think like that. For those big events, it's dress for the occasion. Think what you want to do. Think where you want to do it. You're not going to beat them. You're just going to put yourself in place there. Maybe that was cool.
Yes, man.
So that's how I
Wow.
looked at it,
So cool.
So I love Bowlerama. I love that. I love that whole deal. It was the best to ride with all my idols. Like I was never going to get to ride with Steve Olsen, Eddie Elgura, Steve Alba, Pat, Lester. And then there was the A-listers, But just the normal people. It was unbelievable like Steve Olsen.
Dude, would you say even at that stage in your life, like one of the highlights of your skate life?
Oh,
Easily?
easy.
Even better than like the stuff that was happening in the 80s and 90s, or just different?
It was so rewarding to think far out. It took 50 years, but I got here.
Oh, bro.
Somehow I
So
got to
good.
share a pool contest with the guys that I dreamed about in 1978. It was never going to happen to the boy from Blacktown. My mum used to say, one day it'll happen, Johnny, one day it'll happen. I was going, Mum, no, it's never going to happen. And then we rode with him in the 80s, but it wasn't the ramp thing wasn't as pure
Yes.
as what I grew up dreaming. Steve Olsen, Eddie Elgura, Steve Albert.
Skate park pool.
Just skate park pool, it was as good as we were going to get, and there it was, round, and like I've got one picture that my mate took of, next to Tony Hawk, and it's just us both waiting for a go. But I love it because it's real.
Yeah, dude.
It's just real. It's not anything,
Memory.
But I do have his DNA.
Whose?
Tony's.
How?
No, they reckon he's got his blood. So anyway, here we go. It's a classic story. Another John Gray tale. Sorry. Anyway, we're at Bowlerama, and he's like, I need a drink of water. Yeah, because Chad was always cool enough to put me in the heats with everyone he knew who I wanted to ride with.
Yeah.
So they always, Chad and Sasha really looked after me in that way of making sure I got to ride with, they knew I was pretty pure and had a love for the game.
Yeah.
So I'm there with Tony Hawk and he goes, I need a drink of water. Is there a lot of people behind me? I said, well, it's about 1,000, mate. None of them are looking at me. So I guess they're looking at you, So I need some water. I said, I got some, you want a drink? Tony has a drink of my water. And I said, did you ever watch the Brady Bunch? He went, yeah. This is in the heats practicing for Bolorama. I said, do you remember the one where Davy Jones kissed Marsha Brady on the cheek, And he went, yeah. It's like looking at me like I'm from space. And I went, this is my Marsha Brady moment. I'm keeping the bottle.
Did you? No.
Yeah, I still got it in the cupboard. Still got the backwash in it. Tony Hawk's backwash. Priceless. No, it was so good, But you just, that made me calm amongst all that madness,
Yeah. It's just a way to just take.
And what do you say to him?
Yeah.
Hi, Tony, how are you?
Yeah.
Look how many people have got that. That photo they get with him? Mm. That it's not real. Yeah, you just go, oh, that's a horrible one. The selfie. I wouldn't want one with Tony's fake face on. Mm. But it's classic, Just sharing those bits with them, Just that one tiny moment in life, you go, that's pretty good.
That is cool.
And you got the photo just with
got
him
the
on the
photo.
platform and stuff.
Yeah, just me and him standing there. We've got matching clothes, matching stance, matching everything, and I got my broken arm to go with it.
Gotcha.
Because then I did the hand plant on the broken arm. I just broke it. So I got a plastic plaster put on so I could do it.
Yeah.
The doctor's like, you're an idiot. I go, yeah, I know, but I'm 50, so I was 50, whatever I was back then. I said, I'm not letting the chance go by, And I've only got a few tricks, and this was one of them. So was that Dougie? He was the medic, wasn't he? So he's filing my hand or cutting the plaster so I can grab the top and not fall off.
So good.
And Tony comes past and goes, you should have won the $5,000 for the hand plant, you're crazy. And I said, I was just showing off, mate. Apparently some famous guys here, and I'm hoping to get on the team, He just looked at me again like, I'm not going to talk to this guy again because there's something really out there. But it was, it was just cool to break up all that, all the love and glory.
Serious tension.
Yeah, I got to play drums in front of Steve Olsen.
That's so good. How come?
Well, again, I planned all this stuff because I'm a good planner. So I knew Selber was here and I knew Steve Olsen was coming. So I learned Selber stuff, his Powerflex 5 stuff. I thought, right, if my chance comes, I'm going to be ready. And I'm thinking this is going to be a chance in a lifetime. Selber, Olsen and me. What are the chances? So anyway, Damo has a fight with Selber and he chucks a mental. And it's all over. And Olsen's just sitting there watching me play and then comes up and goes, you're killing it, And I'm like, I just wanted you to play. Like, I was that close. I was that close to setting up the killer chance of a lifetime. And I had all these songs dialed, most of it's only 12 bars, so it's not in anything. But, he had a couple of slick ones and I learnt them. Got away from me. But I got to play, so that was fun,
So
got to play drums in front of Skateboard World, which was good fun.
Wow, man.
Yeah, just adventures. I just make adventures. I love trying to, if something can happen, just make it happen. Just see if you can put yourself there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sort of seize the moment, seize the opportunity.
Yeah, but live for that song, There's a point where you go, okay, I'm going to listen to that song and go, okay, don't let it go. Because once you let it go, it's gone. And when you get old, you go, should have. Should have. Don't say should have.
Would that be some of your key life advice to people?
Should have.
If you were asked,
If you think something, go it.
What are some of your key lessons? If you think something, do it.
Yeah, just be honest, definitely karma. Karma will come and get you. If you do something bad, you got to pay. That's life. You're going to pay the piper somehow, some way. Don't question why it happened. That's why it happened, because you did something. But, if you got a chance, just take it. Because when it's not there, it's not going to come back. You never get a second bite. You just get lucky, So, like the skateboarding thing has just been a blessing, Like it keeps giving and it keeps giving. For all those years, it gave me everything, and now it still does. And then Lux comes along with, just happens to have a ramp and I happen to have a big yard. So he builds a ramp in my backyard, and at 60, I got a skateboard ramp. Got a skateboard ramp in the backyard. Drum set in the lounge room, hot rod in the shed. Got my beautiful fam, my beautiful girl. Man, what a rage. Who'd have thought?
You're in a good place.
Who'd have thought? Yeah, you know.
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? You know, there's so many options out there, but it's pretty good, you know.
Looking forward, like, what's next? You think this is where you're at, where you want to be, and just gonna, this is you for the rest of your life?
I don't know. Me and Leanne just started a lawnmower business
Okay.
after I left the mechanic world,
Yep.
and that's booming.
Okay.
So now I'm a lawnmower guy,
Dude.
and that's hard work, but you know we're just going so well.
Yeah. Keeps you fit.
Yeah, fit is called tired, I think. Yeah, fit Monday. Yeah, fit Tuesday. Far out Wednesday. Yeah, and then you get to a fucking Friday. Oh my God, I'm ratchet. I can't do it. Yeah, you know, I'm 60 years old, so heaving a lawnmower through long grass is. But you're doing it for yourself, and it's rewarding, and it's okay.
You're not working for anyone.
No, you got to do something. I got to do something, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got to do something.
Keeps you busy.
Yeah, I thought retirement would be simple, but man, it's so expensive.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an expensive world, right?
mate, everything's gone up double.
It's insane, isn't
Except skateboards. Life's great bargain is skateboard and petrol.
it? It's true. And even they've gone up, unfortunately.
Yeah, but who gets the coin? You know, I mean, what does a pro guy get for a board?
I've no idea these
In
days.
terms of royalties.
Yeah, would you get $1? Would you get $2?
Probably a couple.
But even then, it must be so hard because they're just so many pros.
Yeah, see, it's my gen that's buying all the boards, don't they? The kids don't worry because the board lasts, I don't know how long a street board would last. A couple of weeks, you're gone.
Not that long.
Dust, yeah, not that long.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a couple of weeks maybe, yeah.
if you're in
Maybe a month, depends on...
Depends. If you're in the streets, they don't last long. But if you're skating these new skate parks all the time,
Yeah.
and that's all you're skating, like they're so smooth. It's like
Yeah, it's true.
your boards seem to last
But like
longer.
out in the road getting kicked against the gutter,
But yeah, if you're in the streets,
2 weeks.
you know, easy. If
Because
you're
I've
skating
seen
every
some
day.
dudes' houses and they've got piles of skateboards. Like I've never seen so many skateboards in my life. You know, the guy that never got rid of a skateboard. Well, that's a garden shed
Yeah, right.
full of skateboards. What are you going to do with it all? Oh, that's this one. I said, yeah, I got one of them sheds too. And
Like Mick Mulhall.
eventually okay, we won't go there. No, it's strange to have all that equipment when Mick had all that stuff. I would have just sold that worthless shit and got myself fixed up and skateboarded. That's the option I would have went with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because he was rad.
But he's
had it all.
created somewhat of he could create a museum out of the stuff he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
History.
it is. I had tons of stuff and just sold it to those guys that love it. You know, I had all these wheels and then they'd bag me and go, oh, John Gray's an idiot. He sold these wheels for $40. I go, well, I didn't think that SS radials by Schmidt sticks from 1980 were worth anything. Cost $10 a wheel. I got $10 a wheel back 40 years later. I thought that was a good deal. No. I could have got $40 a wheel, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. And so then they bagged me and I used to write back, go, well, I'm not going to sell you anything anymore because I got all the primo stuff. You know, my stuff's real. The stuff I kept, everything's real. You know, if I didn't get it from someone legit, I didn't keep it. You know?
Yeah, man. It's got a story behind it.
Got to have a real one. Got to have credits. If there's no one got credits, then I don't want it, you know.
Oh, for sure.
That was everything I kept, had a list of credits, you know.
That's so cool.
Straight from the hand. That was my collection.
Nice,
I had Grosso's furry knee pads.
How'd you
know
score
those?
those?
Fuck knows.
Like his pro knee pads.
Yeah, his pro knee pads, his own ones, the ones he wore, the black and white striped ones, and then they got wrecked in, we had another, some disaster at home, some kind of flood thing.
Yeah, right.
That wrecked them. They went mouldy and I went, useless old pads, you know. When I was on Alva 2, I got an Alva Daggers board, this little paddle pop stick. And you only got them if they were like a gift. And I went, who's ever going to ride that?
Oops.
Oops, yeah. So I got a couple of crushes that I threw out and went, that I shouldn't have done, you know. And then kept some dumb stuff, you know, just keep the dumbest stuff. But,
Hindsight.
isn't it? We'd all be multis.
It's That's it.
I'd have a shed full of cars if that was the case.
That's an expensive hobby. Damn.
Yeah, they are. But I love them. I just love them. I just, love my old Dodge. And,
Is that what you've got in the garage at the moment?
yeah, 1954 Dodge. It's at my sister's place now because it was off getting his photo taken. Nice. And I was going to go and get it back this morning, but one more cup of coffee and I'll go in a minute. And then time just got the better of me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that's always a love. So Sunday mornings we get up and go for a drive to one of the little car events and do that kind of thing and come back and play skateboards in the oven.
Sounds like a good Sunday.
So no, yeah, when the boys come over and we have the barbie and a few beers and you've got to fight off the beer.
Yeah. You got to what? Sorry, fight off the beer.
Fight off the beer. It's easy on a beautiful Sunday afternoon to drink beer. And
do you drink much?
I'm pretty good.
What about in your early life? Were you someone that sort of gravitating?
Just social? No, because
okay,
I was
never
Finn was the pro. Finn and my mates from Marion, they were serious. They could really.
But he's got Scottish heritage.
Oh
too.
yeah, that's why he was a demon. He had the demon. He had it in him. So, but that's life. It was a family thing, and the whole complexity of what happened, why it happened. I know all the other parts of the story. So, yeah, it's a very it was a deep one. It was a tough one.
Yeah,
a lot of people hard. For sure.
Yeah, it was a big tough cut when Finn went. It was, I wasn't ready for that one.
No, a lot of people weren't. No one expected it.
It didn't. I knew, I knew there was the fight was on inside himself, or what we discussed.
Was he communicating with you?
Not as much. We would talk. See, Finn was running the show in Bondi. Finn was Finn, so he had his whole new. When we were in the Scar world, Finn would have all these little young skinheads, and we called them the Finn skins. Right, but he could manipulate these dudes, some of them were big and hunky Irish boys, like real fighters. And he had the power to stick these dudes onto people. It was pretty he knew he had play. He always had play. So by the time he had to Bondi, he's got a whole generation of what I would refer to as little Finn skins. That he could make do whatever they want, He could just that was his power, When we used to do the Coke demos, we'd get up on the top and he'd make the kids sing ads. So we'd get someone else's bag and we'd throw their stuff out to the kids because we were drinking beer in the Coke cans. So we were raging. Well, he was always drinking beer in the Coke cans, But yeah, so then we'd throw someone else's stuff out to the kids. And he'd make them sing ads, the TV ads. And he'd make, you don't get anything till you sing. Everyone's got to sing.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's just a crazy man. No, it's completely crazy. So, yeah. But, they could just rage on. Him and my Marion mates, they'd have benders, day-long benders, days.
Yeah.
And then
but you didn't feel inclined to get to be part of those benders?
Nah, not the drinking was just too much for me,
Yeah.
I was just too wild. I wanted to do stuff, So I had cars and I had.
Would you ever discuss with him that it could be problematic?
Well, it was. We knew it was.
Do you think he was aware of it?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's a deep-seated one. And he knew it. He knew it was what he was fighting. But it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight when it's a seed. You can't, And he knew where it come from. He knew the magnitude of it. So he would go away from me, have a big bender, and then we'd talk when he was cool. Because he didn't, Yeah, we would discuss where we were in the world, Both had our own little worlds going on. And, it was a hard one when he was gone. Like, wow. If you only would have rang me. But, that's me saying that from my point. I don't know how deep he was by the time he got to that. I just know that he must have been depressed and struggling. But I talked to his daughter. Yeah,
Regularly?
When she's ready. Okay. I've made contact with her, I've sent her photos and told her tales and told her our little band and music stories, and she sometimes rings up and says, I'm just thinking about Dad. Can I talk to you? Okay, of course. So, yeah, I've always been there.
Do you
know for
think
that?
have you helped her to understand him?
I haven't
get to
gone.
know him?
Yeah, I haven't gone anywhere near. I let her guide where she wants to talk. You know, there was a lot of it with I didn't like the Finn events. I liked the thought behind the Finn events, but I didn't, because everyone was there pissed. And then they'd get his family there. Well, that's not a good circle. That wasn't a good thing to show, 10 blind skateboarders. Mate, he was the best guy, don't do that. That's not for daughters and things, that's for the boys.
Gotcha.
So they took a little bit backyard boys to a girls' event, to Sue and April's event. And that was not, I went, no, this is not cool anymore.
Mm-hmm. Fair call.
Pardon?
Fair call.
Yeah, you've got to let people grow and progress. They're living with the real trauma. We're having a one-day, social event. So it was a different. But I still see his sister, speak to his dad, wish the whole family happy birthday.
Right.
Yeah. It's classic. So, but he was an entertainer. He was the funny character, and...
Yeah, tell us a favourite Finn story.
Jesus.
Too many.
What's the bad ones? Oh, right. We're going down the Hume Highway, and of course, we're going to steal the bridges they made in Mittagong, the big form ply. We need a form ply for Quackers Hill. So, right, we get this. Finn's got I think he had a panel van. We stopped there. We loaded up like this going up the road. I said, we need a story in case we get pulled over. So there, Parker and Finn are working at St John of God Hospital in Goulburn. So we've got a reason for coming back. That's how they saw the bridge. So the coppers pull us over, make us unload all the wood. We stick to our story, and then the next time we get pulled over, they take us all apart. And it was so funny. He just stuck to his story, and he's like, no, you can come and check. We've got mud on our shoes just from all this stuff, and played the coppers like a champ, And we loaded up the wood and drove home. Just go... What a blinder.
Just the gift of the garden.
Just what a scam, Like I made up the story, but he sold it. He sold it the best, because he was the actor.
Yeah.
And they just took us apart, and I'm like, I'm just labouring for these two guys. They work at the hospital. I'm just like, man, look, I wrecked my shoes. But we'd been under this in Quagmire. And then the other one was we were going down Victoria Road. Car breaks down. I'm the Westie. I'm the Petro. Move, I've got this. No, nothing's going to make this car. We've got 100 cars banked behind us. Finn gets up there, lifts the bonnet, jumps on the motor 3 times, jumps back in the car and drives away. Just Bryce is like, what are you doing, mate? Fixing the car. Go.
Classic.
And
it just worked.
It just went, I don't know why, who would know why? It's just one of them nutty things he'd do that, But the adventures those boys had were just far out. I don't know how he didn't get killed. Then he threw a nicotine bomb into a downhill club in Oxford Street.
A nicotine bomb?
Like he said, he used to smoke Peter Stuyvesant because he liked flicking the packet and getting the durry out. It was just James Bond thing.
They were like soft, because they were soft packets.
Soft pack.
Yeah.
So anyway, he had his technique all down. He didn't like smoking, but he liked the technique. And so he walks past this club in the thing and goes, nicotine bomb, and flicks his cigarette down the stairwell. Well, anyway, the coppers have grabbed him and gone, you're gone. So we go to pick him up from Darlinghurst Police Station, and they throw him in the cell with this like, whoa, dude, you're in the shit. You're in the shit. And I'm like, I just come to get my mate out, And he's like, do you want to go in with him? I went, no. He said, well, piss off. So, yeah, that was his mystery night. We never knew.
Never spoke of again?
Never spoke of again. No. It's not us. There's no questions. You okay, Finn? Yes. Good. Over the nicotine bomb? Yeah, definitely.
Oh, my God, dude. So good.
It's a classic.
Oh, man. Listen, it's been epic, John. I mean,
Fun.
I don't know. I feel like we could talk all day, really.
Yeah, I ran on all day, non-stop. It's
great.
It's a never-ending tale, There's so much fun stuff. So, but I just really would, I just love it. I love the pastime. Love everything about it, Never doesn't give you. So never think skateboarding owes you a penny. Just be gracious. You got the gift to do it. The gift that I can still get on that thing at 60 and ride it.
Great.
So many dudes, they come play footy.
Yeah.
You talk about footy at the pub. Oh, I would have smashed him. No, you wouldn't. Get up there and fucking try it, dude. It hurts. Yeah, but this is a gift that you can still do. If you just stay tuned, stay healthy.
Yeah.
Scotty Spring rides like a kid, man. He's just a machine. But he's wakeboarding and he's so tuned. Does all the moves, But just shows you can just do it, It's no different, At my age, the trick's here. Beat your head, your body remembers,
Okay. Beat your head, your body remembers.
Your body will remember how to do those moves. You just got to tell this part to let it do it.
Yeah.
And once you can just go, I know how to do this.
Hear that, all you young 50-year-olds, all you little whippersnapper 50-year-olds?
That's it. Just stay tuned and believe you can,
Yeah, I love that, man.
People go, oh, no, I'll get hurt. I never think that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to get hurt. I will, but I'm not going to. Don't have a go where I'm going to fall off. I mean, you ride some concrete stuff, it's hairy, big, scary.
Yeah.
When I went to where we go, Montana last year, or the year before, there's the evergreen parks, which are pleasant. Then there's those terror parks that those grindline guys build.
Grindline.
Oh, mate. Like, what's that? Boise, that Haley. Dude, that thing's 13 foot deep and just downhill.
Yeah, right.
Downhill. You just get in there and go, I just want to go home. Like, seriously, I want to go home, Mate, that was an eye-opener, that stuff. That was good stuff, Right. But to get out of those things one day and ride a 13-foot bowl, a 20-foot pipe that goes downhill,
Yeah.
it was humbling.
That's it.
That was humbling.
Awesome.
I can imagine.
But you couldn't get back there fast enough,
So sick that you did that, so recently.
I know.
It's
I was
amazing.
so lucky. My sister's very, very generous, and she took me to Texas on a 2-week country music tour.
What?
And then she was going to Georgia to see her friends and I said, well, I'm over there. So I went up to Idaho to my mate's place and he took me all down through Montana to skate for a week. And then I met my sister.
Right.
Business class.
Oh,
Business class.
Stop it.
I got on the plane.
Yeah. You can never go back now. Once you fly business, it's so hard to go back to a
Oh, I went to sleep, woke up, watched the Elvis movie. And I went, that's it. I'm in Sydney. What a bummer. That's pretty good. Oh, and then we couldn't get off the plane. I was about 5 minutes short of the Elvis movie. They said, we'll just turn the TV back on. I went, thanks. Bargain. Watch the end of my movie. Then got off. But yeah, what a luxury. So I was so gifted. She was so good to take me there. What a chance,
Yeah, I flew to Canada once on business class and I literally didn't want the flight to end. It was the only time I was like, I was like bummed when we got there. I was like,
yeah,
I could just stay here.
Just get your pajamas and give your pajamas.
I know.
Well, just so you know, you are fat ass here. I'm rolling in business, mate.
Yeah.
And
they ask you what time you want to have dinner and stuff. Like, when do you want dinner? Like,
Yeah, I know the bed was amazing.
I'll watch a movie and then bring me some food. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Hey, again, from the boy from Blacktown. Never would have thought that one either.
There you go, man.
But for how much that cost, I could have bought a car over there. So I could have went cattle class and come back with a 56 olds.
Shit.
And still had change. I think it cost, how much it cost? 20 grand or something?
I don't know.
It's phenomenal how much it cost.
Up there.
Yeah, I don't know. Jesus. 20 crowns.
Oh,
But anyway.
money. Good experience though, man.
Another one.
I don't know. Anyways, is there anything else? Like, I don't want to like end.
No, I'm cool.
I don't want you to like feel like afterwards, like, I wish I said this or I wish I said that.
Don't worry. I'll contemplate every single word I said because I have a memory.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back through everything.
And listen, I've been talking about this a lot lately with people. Is like, there's 3 elements to a podcast or an interview. It's like what you want to say, what you actually say, and then what you wish you said. You'll go through those 3.
Yeah.
But really, man, like I feel like today, thank you so much for your time and energy. left us with some really good like things to think about and amazing stories, and you've had an amazing life.
It's been fun.
And-
I've got to say, it's been an endless buzz, you know.
But I think what's inspired me, like spending some time with you this morning, is like I can just still see you have this real positive energy for life and zest for life, and I think, in my opinion, like that's the win in itself. So thanks, man.
In that box is nothing but sadness, you know. The TV there is nothing but sadness.
Oh man,
You just like you don't have to be.
what do you mean nothing but sadness? Like the news in the
News
world.
is so sad, and you know,
dude.
just everything's. It's like, man, really? Does it have to be that bad? Not the world wars, you know. That's not anything I could do, but just the way of people, politics. Just so struggled. Why make it a struggle?
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I mean, you're older than me. Do you feel like the world has become a worse place over time? Do you think it's getting worse?
Yeah, I don't think there's ever an end to greed, and I don't know how to say this without saying it. Religion in itself is a beautiful thing. The human interpretation of religion is a very wrong thing, and it's sold at a cost. And I don't agree with that, and that's what causes the grief. Someone's opinion against an opinion, it doesn't cost nothing. It doesn't cost nothing to love someone or be nice or be cool. But they sell it, and that's the problem. That's a geared...
The humans are the problem.
Yeah, the gearing of people deciding that's my angle and that's what I'm going to throw. Yeah, that's a weird one. My grandson's got dinosaurs, right? Loves dinosaurs. All dinosaurs now come with a chip. No, they don't, do they? Dinosaurs are evolution. But to the concept mind of now a 6 or 7 year old child, dinosaurs have a chip. So they've taken a whole concept of thinking out of their life. So that's wrong. Love to know who made the movies.
Well, what do you mean a chip? Like
A chip. They got
a
an
microchip?
Yeah, a microchip.
So they work.
Dinosaurs are microchipped, and they can call them a Pipilopopulosaurus, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
But the concept of real evolution is taken away from kids. Very strange thought.
Okay.
Don't think that's a good one. You know, life is life is. The dinosaurs 60 million years ago. So 60 million years ago now is an irrelevant statement to a 7-year-old child.
Okay.
Just a strange thought.
Just contemplating it, Ty. Is there anything else you want to add, Ty?
No, I'm
Good.
pretty good. That's great. It's everything I could have thought of, definitely. And more.
I don't struggle to talk, I don't think.
No, it's great. It's been... Well, we might leave it there.
Yeah, cool.
It's been an absolute honour. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shannon. Jim, Ty, thank you very much for the opportunity. I love it. I appreciate it to the end. It's wow. Anything, you know. Someone looks back at all those years and goes, good on you, mate. You did something. Then that's what a gem, you know?
Mr. John
Epic.
Gray.
Thank you,
everyone.
Johnny. Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ty Coling.